The next 5 Pokemon games have been leaked. Generation 10, Pokemon Legends Galar, a Japanese-inspired Pokemon MMO. We have descriptions for these games, but they are slated so far out into the future that a lot of things could change. What's the possibility that we actually get to play these titles? And to help us out, I invited Golden Owl. He's a creator and a former game designer. And on this podcast, he brings so much expertise and insight into GameFreak's creative process. Welcome back to Hidden Power. This is a Pokemon podcast. My name is DustyGogoat, and today I'm joined by TraderLumi.
Hello.
And SoulSilverArt.
What's up?
Enjoy the episode, guys. Golden Owl, thank you so much for being on Hidden Power today. Really excited for this conversation. Could you tell the audience what your background is? Because I'm really excited to have you on. He's just an owl, actually.
Yes, this is an owl. Nah, really. So, my name is Golden Owl. I'm from Singapore, and I was a former game developer. In the past, I went to school for university. I wanted to become a game designer. I went to university, studied hard, graduated, worked as a game designer for a couple years. Had enough of that for a while. Went to study a master's, and now I came back to Singapore, and I'm working a finance job. As a hobby, I make videos talking about game design because at its core, I still really enjoy game design and the process of how a game is made. So I was invited by DustyGogoat about a week ago to come onto this podcast to talk about Pokemon.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good conversation because there's so much stuff to actually. I want to get to the truth of what GameFreak's got cooking for us. Looking, from the Terra Leak Part 2, we got this huge list of games that were that are, I guess, at one point were being planned on. We don't really understand how far into development each of these titles are, and we basically got a roadmap for all of these games for when they're going to release and how far into the future that they're going to actually occur. And a lot of people are assuming that this roadmap is set in stone. So what I want to talk about today, we've got a tier list here to kind of go through each of these titles. What I'd like to do today is use Golden's insight to help us understand which of these Pokemon games are 100% happening, probably going to happen, all the way down to, don't count on this game. Like, this game could actually not even happen. I think that's what I'd like to do today, because we're all assuming, I think a lot of people who are listening and a lot of people in the fandom are just assuming that these games are going to happen 100%. And I'd like to dig into this a little bit, right? So, I mean, I added these just as context. We've got Pokemon Legends EA. That's happening because I'm playing it right now. Then we've also got Mega Dimension. That's happening. Pokemon Champions is still a big question mark. I still think that's going to happen. I mean, that's definitely happening, but we don't know much about it. And Pokopia was also apparently supposed to, that was in the Terra Leak. And there's a bunch of planning docs for Pokopia. It's obviously happening.
Oh.
That's not up for debate. But
we just got the release date, March.
Yeah,
5th.
The moment a game is released, is announced to the public, it's long, it's ready.
Wonderful. That's good to know. So I just wanted to add these here just as context for, just so we can see all of the games that we're kind of looking at over the next couple of years. But the first big game that's a little bit contentious is this Generation 10 title. Golden, have you looked at what is I guess, have you looked at any of the leaked documents surrounding Generation 10 and what might be in this game?
I've looked at it now. I've looked at it a few days ago. I avoided leaks like crazy during ZA because,
Totally. Yeah.
They picked one hell of a time to release the Terra League. I'll give it that.
No, it was kind of annoying, to be honest with you.
Oh, it was.
I just wanted to play the game.
Yeah, it's kind of detrimental to the whole thing.
It was worth it though. Seeing all the megas in real time was great. That was unspoiled. For these two, I would say you may as well just toss them in the confirm bin.
Okay, that's great. Okay. That's great.
Yeah. The only thing I would say maybe would change is the name, because the localization is always one of the last few things that comes in the development process.
Yeah.
It might end up being, Wind and Wave sounds pretty nice, but as you know, names always can change until they announce it.
Yep.
That's it. Everything about it being in Southeast Asia, about what the plans are. I would say, based on how late we are into 2025 and how they're probably gonna announce this on February, I think this is a lock-in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that with Game Freak now, because I'm sure they're aware of this, with them seeing that the name of the game has leaked, do you think that would encourage them to go, let's at least have one surprise about this, let's change the name? Like, do you think that leak would push them to change the name?
Nah.
No. Okay.
I wouldn't think so. Because one thing that's easy to forget is the sheer size of the Pokemon general user base. How many people out there play Pokemon that are not like us terminally online?
Sure. Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
The general target audience of Pokemon is Tanaka-san, who is walking home after a long day of work and passes by a local big camera departmental store and buys a game for his young kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes
So
sense.
these people don't know anything about what this Terra League is about.
Yeah.
If localization and and just general the naming and everything, if they've decided Wind and Waves is the name that we want to go with, it's not gonna change just because of the leak.
Okay.
The only reason why I would think it would change is if they feel that, okay, maybe a different name is better, because names are one of the last few things that gets locked in. They could call it Storm and
names
Sea,
names do get, just repeat that, names get the title of a game is one of the last things that gets actually tagged onto the product.
Yes, and it is always gonna be subject to change until they actually announce and confirm the name.
Okay.
A good example of this was DS and 3DS. Remember Nintendo DS and 3DS? Everybody thinks, dual screen. No, it was just a prototype name called Developer System.
Oh, wow, that's
interesting.
Crazy.
Yeah, everybody thought it meant dual screen until Nintendo decided, you know what? F it. Call it DS, dual screen. It was always meant to get a different name.
Yeah.
Really?
That's
I
crazy.
didn't even realize that. That's fun. That's super fun.
It's just like, it's a case where everyone realized that the prototype name was really good.
Yeah.
All
right, let's dig into this a little bit. So I found your videos, and I thought it was really interesting watching your stuff where you're kind of breaking down each step of the game development process, and you were just like laying out all these elements, right, of the creative process that I really had it was completely new to me. And so when we're looking at, so there's all this information, right, from the Terra League about Pokemon Wind and Wave. This is the Generation 10 game. There's all these details in here from where the game's set, what the box legendaries are going to be, this mysterious seed Pokemon, even some of the characters and stuff. Could you kind of walk me through, and walk through the listeners as well, and kind of break down what the process is to create a game? Because the other thing that we kind of have here is that in the second half, this is from the Terra League, it suggests that in the second half of 2026 that there's going to be a DLC expansion planned after planned for 2027, and I don't know, in the videos I was watching that you put out on your channel, the DLC stuff was really interesting to me, because I think there is usually a lot of backlash with DLC. People assume it's like I don't know, just kind of like cheap content, cash grab content.
Yeah.
And you
it's been going around.
Yeah, and it was really, really informative to hear what you had to say in your video. So could you just talk about this a little bit more?
So everything with development starts from prototyping. Before anything begins, they have to test and see whether or not what they plan for their game actually kind of works. So they get a bunch of their ideas, they conceptualize and brainstorm a bunch of stuff. Then they go off and prototype to see what works, what doesn't work. Is it actually fun? Is it not fun? Can we even do this? Is it worth doing? Can we afford do we have enough time and budget for this? Is it too ambitious? That's when a lot of initial limitations come in. If you look through some of the leaks, you will see that GameFreak actually has multiple divisions and teams. Some of those teams are for purely prototyping and experimentation, which means that these are not games which are being made. These are literally testing prototypes and mechanics to see if anything even works.
Interesting.
Once they have confirmed and created their prototype, if it's what happens next kind of depends on the type of studio. If it's a solo studio, they would go and pitch it to their publisher and see if they can get somebody to fund them. Game Freak's in a very odd spot, a very abnormal spot compared to most other game developers, because they more or less have a guaranteed approval stamp on anything they want to do.
Sure.
Their publisher is Nintendo and the Pokemon Company, and they are kind of in a very happy three-way relationship. Whatever they want to do, Game Freak wants to do, Pokemon Company and TPC will Pokemon Company and Nintendo will most likely approve it.
Okay.
And they've worked together for so long that it's very you can trust it. It's it's a long-running business relationship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense.
Yes. If they are not that, then they have to go and look for a publisher for funding, and that's a very messy process. It's not easy to work as a game developer and run a game studio builds.
Right.
After that is done, that's when they start making initial builds. They start creating their early builds, and this is way before even alpha and beta. During these early builds, a lot of things are subject to change. And during this time is where they start preparing what is called a master game development document, or master game design document, GDD. This master GDD contains a giant list of plans saying what is our grand vision for the game, and what are some of the most important elements which each of the departments need to keep in mind. So, for example, for the art team, they need to decide what is the most important thing for this, what is the theme of the game, what is the most important core mechanic. If I were to hazard a guess, this part of the game is where they would have confirmed stuff like terrestrialization. What is the core mechanic of the game as a whole?
Gotcha.
After they had already done prototyping and stuff. After they've done with that, then you move on into your alpha, your beta, and all your various builds, which they need to go and regularly keep track of across production.
Yeah.
During this time, that's when they figure out what they are able to and what they are not able to actually finish within their internal deadlines. Because over the course of this entire project, there are multiple deadlines which they set where they will have to go and do a check-in with the publisher to see how is progress, how is the technology developing, how is the programming, how is all the development. If something is behind, they will have to go and see what they want to do with it. Do they want to salvage it? Do they want to devote extra resources? Or if they really cannot get it working, they need to decide, do they want to cut it, shift it to DLC, or whatnot?
This is interesting to me. Yeah. And I'm also, not to cut you off, but I'm also just thinking about what we do know from the Terra Leak about Generation 10. And I don't see at least, maybe it's just not public yet, but I don't see any sort of core gimmick, core theme. I guess there's a couple themes in here, but all we're really seeing.
The gimmick was detailed.
What's the gimmick
about weather?
I don't think the gimmick was detailed.
Yeah, it's something about
the weather gimmick
moves and forms. Like they didn't go into full detail with it, but there will be some kind of connection between weather and Pokemon and moves. So there'll be like a way weather interacts with certain moves and a way weather changes certain Pokemon's forms.
Oh, interesting. I totally miss this.
I think it's on this page.
Obviously, also from the Terra Leak, obviously doesn't have every single thing that they have been working on. It's not so detailed to that point. It's just whatever this person could get their hands on. So,
well, that's what I'm interested in. I'm like, if it's not here, that means it's somewhere else, or like it. I'm like wondering if it exists or whatever.
For sure.
Well, we do know that this was leaked in 2023, right? Or this
24.
Thing was obtained in 2024.
Yeah, in 2024, August 2024.
But if it was taken in 2024, like the information could have still originated in 2023 or earlier.
Yeah.
Especially because
sure. They could still be outdated.
Soul fact check me here, but I believe that the way this information was obtained was actually not directly through Game Freak, but through like a company that Game Freak had worked with. And so then it's like, would that company even have up-to-date information on all these things,
It would
I
most like
don't know for sure, but yeah.
this is a bit tricky because we don't know I don't know exactly what the company was tasked with. If they are doing support work, it's very peculiar that they don't have actual footage of the core mechanic, because that's a very big deal. It's one of the most
Right.
obvious things you would have.
Yeah.
The fact
Yeah.
that they only have everything considering flavor, thematics, and whatnot. When I'm looking at this, I'm seeing a overview GDD. It's not a mechanics. It's not a GDD. Sorry, it's not a design document which they give to programmers.
Gotcha.
This may have been taken from the master GDD itself, because the
It's
master
definitely.
GDD usually contains all of these very high concept things.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why you
It's
notice
definitely
in here
possible.
they have. Sorry. That's why in
No,
here
no,
you notice they have some stuff like they have the general concept of what the game is about. The three important legendaries with the
Yep.
the storm, the sea, and the seed, and a few of the high concepts of the characters. None of which are detailed whatsoever.
right.
All of this is very high concept stuff. None of the actual mechanical information. A lot of this is gonna. I would not be surprised if all of these characters are changed in future.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you said, anything, or like we've been saying on the podcast, that a lot of this stuff, we've been saying that it's old so that it could change, but that's kind of what you were just saying, is this is high level stuff, so it could end up changing essentially. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, as the development goes on, things change. They will Other people come up with better ideas, or some ideas
Right.
they find it doesn't really work. A good example of that is with X and Y and Black and White. Do you remember the whole thing about AZ and how they set up this whole thing about the 3,000-year war, and that basically just it felt like it got tossed away midway through?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if if all of that stuff was detailed in that game's high concept documents, but they
Interesting.
just felt that it wasn't worth it after partway through due to
Yeah.
the reception of Black and White.
Yeah, that's
Gotcha.
That's
Yeah.
really interesting. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking about X and Y specifically, and I mean, yeah, there's like so many scrapped things. I guess like also the what we're thinking forward right now with this information from the Terra Leak, but what the Terra Leak also gave us are all these scrapped concepts from previous generations, like literally every single previous generation, including generation 5 and 6. All right, like we found the Southern Kalos map, or the X and Y map that contained locations within Southern Kalos, and like the big mystery there is like, was this originally supposed to be in X and Y? You know, could that have been scrapped at that stage?
Most likely, because as again, like I mentioned, as development progresses, a lot of plans change. They have to go and realize what they can and cannot cut. And X and Y were always tragically destined to be the biggest doomed games of the franchise, not in terms of success, but in terms of development, because this is the first ever 3D Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whichever game had to be the first 3D game was doomed. Because that's a massive development effort.
Yep.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something. Yeah, because I would argue that game and Sun and Moon seem to have like the most, from what we know from the Terra League, the most like scrapped stuff from it, and that kind of makes sense because those were their like first two new generation 3D games.
Yeah.
So okay,
despite I give Sword and Shield a lot of shit, but Sword and Shield really that was the point where they started stabilizing in 3D.
yeah. I thought, looking back, Sword and Shield is actually like a really nice game. Like it is not an open world game, and it plays like a 3DS game. But like the more I go back to it, I don't know how often you replay games, but I go back. I've been going back to Sword and Shield a lot recently, and I'm like, there's a lot of good ideas in here. And it's quite pretty as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you disagree or agree.
Golden might not agree.
I think we'll agree to disagree there.
That's fine.
Do you think that's like a similar thing where with Sword and Shield, just like X and Y were doomed for kind of being the first 3D games, maybe Sword and Shield were doomed for being like the first Switch games?
Nah, not as
No.
bad.
Okay. Wow. All
It's
right.
not. Trust me. There's a moving from 3DS to Switch. The engine thing, yeah, and engine and specs, yes, that's a difference. Going from 2D to 3D is a whole other set of problems.
Okay.
Sure.
It's like almost. It's like basically saying everything which you previously had. Nope, you can't use that anymore. Almost nothing carries over.
Right. That's crazy.
Is there also
Yeah.
like, from switching to 2D to 3D, would that require also like new staff, and then also would that require like new knowledge from management of those new skills from the new staff? Like, like I'm trying to understand what I guess the skill gap would be in changing from 2D to 3D content. Is that something?
Would depend. That would depend entirely on how management decides to do it.
Yeah.
Normally, they wouldn't just hire new staff with the skill set. For developers, they'll just normally go and figure it out
Oh, okay.
because game developers have to learn this stuff.
Okay. Yeah, no, that I wouldn't have thought that. I don't know. I because I look at it like, I don't know. It's like I'm looking at it like, okay, if I need a plumber, I'm gonna hire my plumber, Mike, in the town over. But
Shout
then
out to
like,
Mike.
no, I literally shout out to Mike. He's the best. He shows me a bunch of like, he watches a lot of anime. He's always showing me his like favorite new anime. But if I need if I need someone to work on the heat, I call a different person. To me, it seems like a different skill or a different. But is it not like that going from 2D to 3D game to what would it be like
no,
game modeling, game design? Is it code? I don't know.
Just working in games in general. I would say the better analogy would be if you call a plumber for your residential house, versus if you had to call a plumber for City Hall in downtown New York, with a whole different set of legal regulations and all kinds of other problems and a much bigger and more complex building.
Sure.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
Same core skill sets, but there's a lot of other things they have to go and learn and adapt their skill to.
Gotcha.
So so there's another line here, and we're using for listeners, we're on Pokémon.com. Check them out.
Shout out to Makio and J Roses. Great site.
We're so in this Terra League, it says that the game is said to be the first to use this brand new quote Pokemon Engine X, a new generation engine designed specifically for the series. I feel like when the word Pokemon engine or game engine is thrown around, I feel like we don't really know what that even means. Someone told me before that like the game engine, we're thinking about it as if it's like the art style, but a game engine is actually more like it would be more equivalent to me using either Adobe Premiere versus iMovie or something, right? It's more of like it's like the sandbox that you create the game and not necessarily the visual style of the game. Could you tell me more about this and whether or not this seems out of place or if this is telling at all, this new Pokemon Engine X?
I mean, the fact that they've gone and called it Pokemon Engine X tells me that that's probably the case because we're not good at naming things. This speaks like the kind of shit of this name is the kind of thing a programmer would name their engine.
Okay.
It's not something for public use. So yes, an engine really is all about your hardware and what you use to build your game in. It has impact on the art and how it's presented because it usually it involves things like your engine will control elements like lighting, and lighting has a big impact on how things are displayed. Same with what you're able to render and your I can't call it that your textures and whatnot.
Okay. Yeah.
So it does have impact on your art style. But the bigger thing of what it does is that it just simply gets everything in your game running.
Okay.
It's are you familiar with Unity?
I'm familiar with it as a concept.
Yeah, as a concept.
But none of us have any sort of game design background.
Okay, so Unity is a game engine. It's a publicly accessible game engine. It runs on C# as its language. If you try to build a game in Unity, you can use certain assets, you can port certain things into it, you can control certain things with scripts written with C#. You go to Unreal Engine. That's a completely different set of language, the whole different set
Right.
of libraries. The way you operate it and make something move is completely different. You have to go and it's like learning two different tools
Okay.
entirely.
Interesting.
What game developers like these do is that they tend like what game developers of the scale of GameFreak often tend to do is they have their own custom in-house engines. That's what this
Yes.
Pokemon Engine X probably is. The reason why is
Gotcha.
because for public engines like Unity and Unreal, if your game sells above a certain point, you have to pay royalty fees or you have to pay a fee to those companies.
Interesting.
Yes. And
Mm.
for games as big as this, no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Tell me more about this. That's really interesting because I feel like the story I've always heard about Game Freak is that they're like weird and quirky, and that's why they make their own engines. But you're
No.
suggesting that they make their own engines because they're trying to avoid the fees.
No, well, okay, there's a few reasons why game developers make their own engines. The first reason is fees, because yes, it's expensive to use. Yes,
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to you have to weigh the cost of saying, is it more worthwhile to develop my own engine and use my own engine, or is it better to simply say, okay, I'll absorb the fee and I'll pay the fee and treat it as a business expense.
Yeah.
An example of this was with Kingdom Hearts 3. It was originally developed using Square Enix in-house engine called Luminous, which they use for more of the Final Fantasies. Partway through, they realized this is not working. We are having a lot of problems, and they scrapped everything and rebuilt it in Unreal Engine 4.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yes, that was a mess. The
That
other
sounds like a
reason
big
why a
lift.
game, the other and that's why it took forever to get Kingdom Hearts 3.
Right.
13 years.
Right. Took forever.
The other reason
Yep.
why a game company tends to make their own engine is because of what the engine is specialized in doing. The thing about public, what's the best way to describe it? The thing about publicly accessible engines like Unreal and Unity is that they are engines which can do anything. You can make any game in them, but they are not specialized for making any game.
Okay.
Mm.
So
The whole
if you want to make a
jack of all.
jack of all trades,
trades or
master of
whatever.
none.
Yeah,
Because they
master of
are
none.
released
Mhm.
to the public with the assumption that anybody can use this to make whatever the heck they want.
Mm-hmm.
But if you
But
are
not
making
really.
if you're making a very specific genre of game, like say if you're making a visual novel, you don't need to use these engines. You can go and find a specialized engine like RPG Maker, which has a lot of things built in to make that experience a lot easier,
Yeah.
to be easier to work with. It has a lot of built-in functionality. You don't have to go and figure out a way to make that work out.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. I mean, I'm thinking about just random stuff in my life, or like anytime if I'm gonna make a purchase for something really specific, I'd rather buy the tool that does that really specific thing than getting like, trying to do something, trying to fix everything in my house with a hammer. That doesn't always work.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Another example of that is Mario. When Nintendo went to go and make Mario games, they always make their own engine for it, unless they
Okay.
are using an engine which they've already made. The reason why is because for Mario's jump physics are everything about it. If
Yeah.
Mario doesn't jump right, the game doesn't feel right. So Nintendo goes very far out of their way to make sure the physics, and everything about the game needs to be highly tuned and specific.
Yeah.
So all of their Mario games are basically running on a Nintendo in-house custom engine. I believe
Right.
Bonanza also uses the same engine as Mario Odyssey.
Which, yeah, that makes sense.
So
Interesting.
and we're gonna talk about this. We'll probably segue next, but so I guess I'm thinking about, does Pokemon Legends ZA have a unique engine from Scarlet and Violet, or would you think that Legends Arceus and ZA share an engine, but it's still separate from Scarlet and Violet, or are they all the same engine? Because to me, they feel they play like very different games.
I feel like they're all the same engine. I don't think
Okay.
there's anything about it which is so different that needs to be called that a new engine needs to be called for it.
Okay, not even the gameplay, not even like the battle combat.
Nah, you can make
Okay.
that combat work in the same engine.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the nice thing about Pokemon is that the nice thing
you're
about
good,
Pokemon is that since it's a
We like to
turn-based
interrupt
RPG,
each other here.
the nice thing about Pokemon is that since it's a turn-based RPG, you don't have to worry about stuff like physics, and physics is a big deal.
Sure.
So
Sure.
if anybody's wondering, if anybody's complaining about why ZA looks really ugly and stuff, it's like if
Who's
you look
doing
at
that?
Legends Arceus, it's the same level of appearance, more or less.
Okay.
Same engine. Same
Okay.
engine, same limitations. Paris doesn't get Windows.
Yeah. No windows for Paris. Actually, a lot of windows.
A lot of
flat windows.
actually, it's,
No
actually it's
balconies,
too many
balconies.
windows. Yeah, too many.
No balconies, right?
Yeah.
No balconies.
Also,
Yeah.
there's pigeons in Paris, right? How come there's no pit of?
Yes.
You ever think about that?
I mean, I think the Pidgeys took that place, but
Oh, good point.
Oh,
You're
right.
right. Pidgey. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Pidgey,
That's a good
Pidgey.
point.
Gotta get Mega
all right.
Pidgeot.
I know that actually
Yeah.
is pretty sick. That is. I mean, a mega unpheasant would have been pretty nice as well. All right, before we
Would've been
move
something.
off of Generation 10, I guess what I want to communicate to the audience, right? I'd love to like give them this nugget just for their own imagination, right? What is confirmed in Generation 10? Pretty much everything, like whatever they're working on right now. Like whatever they're working, like I'm thinking about starter Pokemon. I'm thinking about legendaries. Like, is everything that we can imagine from Generation 10 pretty much locked in?
I mean, we don't have any information about the starters.
yeah.
No, we don't have
There's
any
nothing in
information.
in
But
the
I'm
leak,
like, I
yeah.
guess I'm assuming there's going to be starter Pokemon, right?
Based on general production timeline,
Yeah.
where we are now, I would say development is more or less pretty far in. It's pretty far in. It
Yeah.
will not have gone gold yet. I would expect them to announce it on February and release it in the second half of 2026. Yeah. It's not gone. It'll probably go gold sometime within the first half of 2026, which means it's meet its internal production deadline and it's ready to ship.
Can you explain that to me? Explain go and gold.
The gold
Not
build.
golden go, but go and gold.
I made that joke, didn't I? I forgot. I think this term originated from record making or something. It originated elsewhere outside of this industry, and it got brought over.
Okay.
Basically, there's a lot of internal deadlines in the game production process. There is one final deadline where they will eventually, where the developer and the publisher eventually say, okay, this is the final deadline. After this point, we are cutting it. Because if you don't set that, you're gonna get Silk Song, where it just goes on forever.
Takes forever.
So that
Interesting.
is the
Scroll
final
6.
cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the final cutoff point. Everything until that point, you have to go and squeeze everything in, get it all fixed and whatnot. Once it goes past that point, you get a build which has gone gold. It's like that version of the game, nobody touches it.
Okay.
Okay.
No developer. You put it in a box there, and you say no one touch it. It's gonna ship.
And when does that happen? Like in 2026, if we get the announcement of Gen 10 on Pokemon Day, at what month in 2026, assuming the game comes out in November, what month would Generation 10 go gold?
I would say a couple months before the public release date.
Okay.
Wait, no. This is a Nintendo game. What am I talking about? I would say it's probably gonna go maybe March, maybe February. Maybe
Oh, that's way
April.
earlier.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
That's much earlier.
The reason why is because normally going gold can be done quite late. The reason why I'm a bit hesitant is because this is Nintendo we're dealing with. Yes, I
Yeah.
know Game Freak, the Pokemon company, Nintendo are not the same thing, but Nintendo's handling publishing. Nintendo is the kind of company to get a game years in advance and sit on its ass about it until the perfect time to release.
Yeah.
That's how we get Luigi.
seen
They
this.
probably stockpiled a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking about now Scarlet and Violet when that first reveal trailer came out in February. Scarlet and Violet looked so bad. And Scarlet and Violet still looks bad, but Scarlet and Violet looked really bad. And then I feel like the trailers in following months the game started to look a little bit better. So I'm just thinking about that in the context of which
Legends
month the game would go
Arceus,
gold.
especially because I remember that very first trailer. There was that one shot with a Chingling, and it was moving at like the frame rate on it was it was awful, and then the frame rate started looking better in future trailers.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody dropped off.
Oh yeah, it looks like Soul. He might have had. He was kind of buffering a little bit, so he might have.
Sorry, we
disconnect.
I guess on the subject of Legends Arceus, about that frame rate, actually, it is an interesting solution. It is an interesting thing which they did, because in Legends Arceus, right, would be I wouldn't be surprised if that was an actual internal decision by the developers to make that stuttering, to put in that stuttering. As weird as it sounds, because here's the thing, right? Fantastic Four thing. No, Legends Arceus has really big open areas where you can see for miles.
Sure.
So they want to let the player see Pokemon from who knows how far. There's a lot of unobstructed view. If they don't, which means that they could potentially be rendering multiple Pokemon in the distance at who knows how many.
Yeah.
If they had to go and render all those Pokemon and have them animate at a perfect, seamless, perfect animation, you're gonna kill the game. Because there are so many Pokemon out. There are so many Pokemon from that distance. By having that sort of semi-stuttering frame rate, that allows you to still see the Pokemon, and you can then have it suddenly get a lot better once you get in closer and can actually see it properly. The reason why ZA doesn't have that is because ZA is a much more enclosed environment. There are buildings everywhere, a lot of things which can block off Pokemon from sight, so they don't have to worry about ever having potentially 30 Pokemon on the screen at once, kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying this conversation because I think on this podcast, we always approach Pokemon and these games. Like, to me, I've always said, like, the Pokemon games are a sandbox. It's like a portal for me to enter this world. And all of us on the podcast, and I think a lot of our listeners, look at Pokemon games as it's the fantasy escape. It's a world. It's like history that exists. And it's really interesting to hear from your perspective the background, the mechanics, because like people have to actually build these worlds that we enjoy. So this is really, really interesting. All right, I want to move on a little bit. And this, we don't need to spend too much time on this, but we also learned from the Terra leak that apparently we lost a video game. It was called Pokemon Legends Ho-Oh and Lugia. It was supposed to be the next Legends game, and instead it was scrapped and we got Pokemon Legends ZA. And I guess I just wanted to hear your take on this a little bit because leading into the next title on this list, Pokemon Legends Galar, or Pokemon Legends 3 taking place in Galar, that is something that everyone now, even myself, is really excited to see. But now that we know that a Johto Legends game was scrapped, could Legends 3 also get scrapped? And we won't receive Legends Galar, but maybe we receive Legends Alola or Legends Kanto instead. I
don't want to go back to Kanto like that.
I just asked you 2 questions.
No.
That's why we don't want this scrapped. We don't want this scrapped.
Okay.
Just probably be Kanto.
Okay, so regarding the idea of Legends Ho-Oh and Lugia getting scrapped, what this tells me is that this was shifted at a very early phase.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, look at that. It says that it was conceived as a release to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Gold and Silver in 2024. So they originally had plans, and they planned this game based on the actual release date. On an actual thematic date, rather than a conventional the game development plan. They basically went at it backwards rather than forwards.
Right.
They set the deadline first, and then they sort of worked towards it.
Yeah. Which even seems kind of interesting. I mean, to think, I guess if you really want to make a splash, maybe line up your game with something that can increase sales. But I don't know. I feel like Pokemon has an anniversary every single year. It's like, how do you decide which game to actually tackle? You know, I would think the original idea was like, oh no, we need to make a Johto game. Like I would think that is the first idea that is then complemented by, well, if we make this game, we could line it up with the 25th anniversary. But yeah, continue.
What I wouldn't be surprised is partway through their prototyping phase, they realized what they were getting their mechanics together for what would eventually become ZA. This was the first time they were dealing with real-time combat.
Yeah.
What I wouldn't be surprised if during the prototyping phase and during their after some point of that, when they actually made their design document and made their timeline plan, they realized that nope, we are gonna miss the 25th anniversary, so we don't need to be doing Gold and Silver.
So maybe so you're saying like maybe the first year of development was maybe part of the team was working on concepts that actually, they're working on concepts and lore and location and characters that would have lined up with the Johto region, but then the other team is really just developing, I think you said prototype, which would be just like gameplay mechanics.
Yeah.
Right.
Gameplay mechanics, testing, seeing what works. Once they, after a point when they realize it doesn't line up, they put, well, too bad for that research team. They have to go and take everything, file it away.
Yeah. Do you think an idea I'm having, and I'm just telling you these ideas because I'm looking for your guidance if they make sense, but because Legends, Ho-Oh and Lugia were scrapped, and then this game was like kind of resurrected or reworked into a Kalos game, do you think that could have contributed to why Legends EA only took place in Lumio City instead of the entire region?
Can I add to your question and say, like, another interesting detail too is that the DLC for Scarlet and Violet was initially planned to be or pitched to be a Kalos location and then an Alola location. And that also makes me wonder, could that Kalos location have just been entirely Lumio City in the same way that Kitakami is like a piece of the Tohoku region, but not like an actual Tohoku game, and the Blueberry Academy is a piece of Unova, but not all of Unova?
It's possible. We don't know what exactly went on during the initial early concept phase, but considering that in the past they had documentation for Southern Kalos as well, it's entirely possible they could have dug it out, flipped through, and tried to pitch that as the original concept. But then once they went into,
that's cool.
At some point when they decided to lock in ZA, maybe the DLC was also locked in as something as Kitakami instead.
Yeah.
Because maybe they felt like, okay, let's not use France, let's not go to France so many times. That's it. The DLC would probably have been way further along than it probably would have been way further along than this. So who knows? Maybe they felt that they rather safe. They wanted to have something completely new for the DLC rather than revisit the old.
Right. It all kind of just really interested me though, because like just looking, outside in, like you see, there was a plan for a Kalos DLC and a plan for a Johto game, and what we essentially got was a Kalos game. And then while we didn't get Johto DLC, a lot of people pointed out how similar Kitakami was to Johto. Like there was just a ton of, obviously the Japanese vibes were, that's obvious, but also just there were a lot of Johto Pokemon in the Kitakami decks as well.
Probably could have been, who knows? We don't know what exactly prompted that shift to Kalos. I wouldn't be surprised if the moment they decided to, because again, this tells me this was a very early plan change.
That's good to know, at least.
We don't know when exactly that thing may have occurred and how that may have lined up with the timeline production of the DLC.
Yeah.
But it's possible that the moment they decided we want to have this be Kalos, they would change the DLC to Johto. Or maybe the other way around. Who knows?
So, okay.
Maybe they felt that Kalos was better suited. Maybe they felt that Kalos was destined for greater things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The revival. It is the revival of Mega Evolution, as we have seen.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe they felt that Mega Evolution deserved a grander return to form, which it paid off.
It also,
Yeah, that's interesting.
It does
That's
deserve it. Like, I know I'm the biased one here. I love Kalos, but it did deserve it. Every single other like region, you know, got their DLC or got their third version or got their sequel. Kalos got X and Y, and that's it. So it deserved
Yeah, so far.
the new game.
It really
I was
does.
thinking about that the other day, though, like that if it had been the Johto game, like what were they going to do? Were they going to still bring back Mega Evolutions? You know what I mean? So like the Mega Evolution aspect of ZA actually makes a lot of sense on why they went in that direction. You know, they could have just done new Pokemon.
What I suspect is that Legends games the Legends line is extremely hard to predict because that's the point where they basically went off the rails and are doing whatever the heck they want. When they write it here as Tales Then and Now was envisioned as a historical episode, what this tells me is that they made this at some point after they were very far in the production of Legends Arceus, which was a historical episode. So they were simply just following the existing pattern.
Yeah,
it took them
that makes sense.
At some point with ZA, they decided, okay, Legends games can be anything, can be set anytime.
Yeah.
Which
Makes
is
sense.
cool. I mean, that is cool. Yeah, and I guess, you know, a lot of what we've been talking about when a game, like what I'm hearing, oftentimes a game gets scrapped because it's not working. But now I'm thinking maybe we could look at that. Maybe, and you can answer this, does a game ever get changed because of just like a better opportunity? Like if they're a year into development or 6 months into development of Legends Ho-Oh and Lugia, and they go, you know what we actually want to do, let's change plans. We actually want to make a game in Kalos with Mega Evolutions. Like, would they ever scrap a game because they're like, you know what, we have a better idea that we want to pursue, rather than, you know, making that change because of a negative? They're almost like making it because of a positive.
Yes, that happens.
Okay.
The question is whether that is happening for a good reason or a bad reason, because that's all based on product management.
Sure.
Ubisoft is a very good example of that happening for a bad reason. Skull and Bones is, you know, the hilarious, the infamous quadruple A pirate game.
I don't know. I don't think I know it.
No.
What is it called?
It's
Skull and Bones. An actual pirate.
Oh, yes.
That game is a tragedy. Because that game development kept changing nonstop for like 10 years. They kept changing and revising everything all the time. Every few months, it felt like they had a completely different design direction change. They could never decide whether they want to be boat. You play as a boat, you play as a pirate captain. Is it a single player game? Is it a multiplayer game? Everything kept changing and it was a complete mess. These things do happen.
Oh my gosh.
That said, I know people give GameFreak a lot of shit, but you don't helm $1 billion franchise without experience, and GameFreak knows what they are doing when it comes to planning Pokemon games. Nintendo is very good at planning games as well.
Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah.
I wouldn't, depending on when exactly this change was made, I wouldn't expect, if the game had already been progressed to a very significant point, I very much doubt they would scrap it. They would have gone through with it because they would have gone through with it at the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could see that. No, it's because, like you're saying, they know what they're doing. They know how to make a good game. They'd probably, if they were very far along in it, they wouldn't be like, okay, we're just going to scrap it because we had a better idea. We'll just make that game later on because it's a good idea or something like that.
Yeah, they would just simply say, okay, we'll do this later on. For all we know, instead of Legends Galar, we may just get jump scared by Legends Johto for Legends 3.
Yeah,
which would be funny.
Yeah, I'm down for that at least.
What I suspect, right? The main reason why I believe they may have changed course to ZA was because of Mega Evolution. They may have felt that this was a good time to bring Mega Evolution back into the franchise. Because Mega Evolution was always meant to be the big thing about X and Y. Before, it felt like it was a true, step forward in the game and not a generational gimmick like Z moves and terrestrialization end up being.
Yeah,
but
when you say that,
gimmick.
But the reception to it was initially a bit rocky.
Right. I would even say that, I don't know if you're thinking about this, but that's a good point, because then there's the whole champions aspect that you can bring into it, where it's like they're making this this battle sim essentially, and it's like, oh, we can put all those megas into that, right? So it does tie in very well, I'd say.
They have a grand plan right now to make Pokemon into this. I mean, they already have kind of achieved it, where Pokemon is basically able to cater to every possible audience. So here's your game product for the hyper competitive audience of people that love to play competitive Pokemon.
Yeah.
The Mega Evolutions being added into this into this game. Like, I feel like I'm a little cynical, and it makes I would imagine that the addition of Mega Evolution isn't just Game Freak thinking, oh, this is a cool thing that we want to bring back, but I could also see it being, maybe someone at Nintendo or at the Pokemon Company being like, we want to bring Megas back so we can sell all these products and put it into every single mobile game. So we need a game. We can't do Legends Ho and Lugia. We need a game that brings Mega Evolution back into the fold, right? And maybe that did have to do with Champions.
Maybe even that was like the
that's my hunch.
plan in Scarlet and Violet was when they had Kalos DLC conceptualized.
Oh,
they were just
wow.
going to bring Mega Evolution back in the Kalos games,
Wow.
And then just ultimately we're like, that's not big enough to bring Mega Evolution back in a DLC. Let's instead give it its own moment.
What do you think, Golden
Mega
Owl?
Evolution would. I think if that's the case, it would have been the right call. Mega Evolution absolutely does deserve it. On the subject of selling merch, yes, that's. That is Pokemon in a nutshell.
We figured it out. The episode's over.
Yeah.
It's true though, because the thing about the Pokemon games is that statistically, and I have seen the data charts for this, the games itself only account for like 15% of revenue for the entire franchise.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like there's a giant bulk of that is just merchandise.
Right.
The games do earn a profit, yes, but the main reason why the main function of the games for the franchise is to just introduce like 100 new designs every generation. Mega Evolution is their way to basically take a previously created design and say, okay, let's sell it again.
Yeah,
Sure.
It's
It's
like
just a funnel.
Lucario.
It's just a starting point.
Yeah, it's like you like Lucario. But we can't evolve Lucario because, well, people like Lucario. Let's make him go Mega and then sell Lucario again.
Yeah. And again.
And again.
Yeah.
Like, in the case of Charizard, they sold it 4 times.
Yeah.
It's true.
Exactly.
Who knows?
Or
Maybe
actually-
5. Mega Charizard Z, anyone?
No,
Charizard W.
no, please no. I don't want another Mega Charizard. But
Me neither.
yes.
So this is really, really interesting. But but going now on to Pokemon Legends 3, we have this information. This is it's Project Codename Ringo. And it says, it's being developed by Game Freak's prototype development division as a candidate for the new Pokemon Legends title. It's being developed. And then we have a bunch of concept stuff that to me reads like a pitch, right? It's like, okay, here's the big here's the game. Imagine it's set in the Galar region, 1,000 years in the past. Dynamax is there. There's group and alliances battles. You can befriend Pokemon in the wild. And then there's some other things here talking about AI and physics. It says the game central theme is AI and physics. And then there's a bunch of other stuff here. So a lot of this just reads.
This is
like
all
a
machine
pitch.
translated too, just so we're clear.
Yeah.
So like
Okay,
some
sure.
things might not be exactly perfectly translated.
All right.
So, yeah,
So if you go and reread the first sentence, the answer will probably make itself very apparent on what's happening to this.
Please, yeah.
This is being developed by Game Freak's prototype development division as a candidate for the next Legends
Got it.
title. What this tells me is that they are absolutely making a Legends tree. The prototype division has been working on this for a while. They are working out all the mechanics, figuring out all the technology for it. When you scroll down and they mention the AI times physics thing, that is what they're figuring out. Whatever the heck this is supposed to be. They're trying to figure out what is the technology. They're trying to figure out how do we get Pokemon behavior to work. They're trying to figure out how do you make the environmental interactions function. All of this pitch stuff, that's complete. That's all. That could be anything. the fact that this pitch is again has gone back to the historical episode thing tells me that this is one of their earlier pitches when they were when they had not yet switched to ZA.
Yeah, that's crazy, but that's probably true.
Well,
it makes sense.
I'm sorry, just to throw one more thing into here. These images are no longer on this website. I'm going to pull them up in a second. But there were a bunch of
real quick.
Yeah, yes, there were. There were a bunch of concept images for this Legends game. I'm going to try to pull them up here. And to me, they didn't just seem like they seemed like actual like gameplay, I guess. Here's one. Here's one. Have you seen this image?
You're actually right, Golden, with some of it, because it's funny because it's still Irida. Like, she's from Legends Arceus, the main character that they're using. So it could be, your theory there could be pretty right, that they were like thinking of this concept still before they even had finalized ZA concepts, I guess, is what you're saying.
Hey, Dusty, give me 1 second and I can send them to you on Discord if you'd like.
Just send them to me.
It's also the fact that during development processes, and especially doing prototyping, you're trying to make stuff with as minimal actual assets as possible, because the prototype only focuses on making stuff work. They probably just grabbed a bunch of existing assets which they have already made and just chucked it in there because it looks nicer than Stickman.
Yeah. I mean, she was also the one in the ZA beta builds too, so they probably just throw her into every single one.
I guess the prototype team just likes Irida.
Yeah.
Because at some point somebody decided, okay, use her as the player model, as the default player model.
Mm-hmm. Likewise, we saw Nimona used as like a model for the Gen 10 game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But I guess what I'm asking, or what I'm curious about, is like, I don't know. To me, as someone who knows nothing about this does seem. It seems you've made a good point for this being outdated and old, but it does seem like they're working on something. Yes. Like, and I think that, to me as a fan, the concept of Gigantamax being reinvented and actually given like a proper identity as a with like a really specific gameplay element and experience that feels separate from Mega Evolution or Terrestrialization or any other gimmick, right? Like Dynamax has always just kind of felt Dynamax has always just felt like a version of Mega Evolution in game, but this version of Dynamax and Gigantamax seems so cool to think that these behemoths would actually be roaming around this location and we have to fight them in a raid battle. That sounds so exciting, and I know that's just one aspect, but like, I hope this continues. I hope this is real.
I think looking at this, right, and this tells me that they are actually trying to figure out the technology of they're working on the technology of it. But the fact that this is a thing does tell me that they have their eye on the idea of, okay, go play Shadow of the Colossus with Pokemon. And in that case, assuming that the technology does work out and they decide they really want to go with this gameplay concept after all, it has to be a Legends Galar game, because there's no other place to have Gigantamax. There's nothing else which justifies, or which may really... There's no other way to really sell the idea of fighting giant Pokemon without Gigantamax.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
it would also...
And I guess they could scrap it.
So you think it might even be a situation like, we're speculating that maybe the switch to ZA from Legends Ho-Oh and Lugia came from them going like, Mega Evolution, it's better to like sell that with a Kalos game. Do you think like that could play a role here too, where like if they're set on selling Gigantamax, well then they might be more married to the idea of doing a Galar game?
Ooh, yeah, I think it's the other way around. I think with Gigantamax, they might be more interested in it from a mechanical standpoint rather than the merchandising standpoint. I know it sounds very weird for Pokemon, but in the case of Gigantamax, I don't think anybody really cared about the Gigantamax designs. I don't think anybody bought Gigantamax Pokemon merchandise. You bought stuff?
No, I didn't buy anything.
We didn't buy anything.
It's like a lot of people really loved the Mega Charizards. I don't think anybody cared about the design for G-Max Charizards.
Yeah. And we can have a whole conversation about why, but I agree with you.
So
Yeah.
if they did decide to go through with this concept, the only reason why I think they would go through with it is because they felt that the idea of fighting giant Pokemon was really cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it has to be
is.
if they want to,
Like,
if they're
this is so
really
much
sold on the
cooler.
idea. Yeah, if they're really sold on the idea of playing Attack on Titan with Pokemon, then yeah, it has to be Galar.
Yeah.
If they decide to change their plans to have a different concept, then it'll probably be something else.
This is
Just
so
say,
cool.
say
to
a little
look at.
prayer.
This is
You know,
so cool.
They kind of did, and it makes sense too, because like in the rogue battles in ZA, you did have the mega Pokemon would like get bigger that you were fighting, and it was kind of like from a lore standpoint, it's kind of dumb. It doesn't really make sense. Why are they bigger now? You know?
Yeah.
They
I mean, they
should just
can do
mega
whatever they
evolved.
want. They
Yeah,
can
of
do whatever they
course.
want, right?
But like, I
mean,
think
it-
like
it-
this is the natural next step.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That does
good
make
point.
sense. Actually, you're right. ZA was the first time where we actually fought a Pokemon. Well, I mean, apart from Arceus,
No, I guess Arceus.
I guess.
Arceus has the giant monsters too.
They weren't giant though. They were bigger, but they weren't giant.
Yeah, they're not
you
this
know?
level. They're not this level.
I mean,
that's
I
for
mean,
No,
sure.
but it's a step in this. It's similar to the
Yeah.
Rogue Mega Evolutions.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Arceus could have been them dabbling with the idea of actually having you fight a full-on boss, a unique boss battle against the Pokemon itself.
Right.
The Rogue Mega fights were them continuing that concept. This could just be another continuation of that.
Yeah.
hmm
So the question is, how likely is Pokemon Legends Galar to actually, for us to actually see Pokemon Legends Galar? Is it, I don't know, how are you feeling right now? Because another question I'm thinking about is like, well, why is it on this list? Why is Pokemon Legends why is Pokemon Legends 3, the Galar region, the only item on this planning doc? Why is it not something else? Right?
Also,
Why is there not
a
4 other
chance
options?
that like Legends Johto, especially if this was pitched early, like you're suggesting, like early after Legends Arceus, is there a chance that Legends Johto actually becomes our Legends 3 game?
It's possible. Because the thing is that, again, I know it looks really cool, and it seems very possible, but this is also in prototyping.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So technically speaking, I know it looks very cool because of the giant G-Max coal monster. I can never remember that one.
Colossal.
Colossal.
Colossal. I know it looks very cool because of the colossal. But remember that these are all just using existing assets that they already have. This is a
Sure.
pure
Mhm.
technology test.
Yeah.
Which means that they may
Gotcha.
decide, okay, we've got a different candidate could have shown up, or they could
Yeah.
have a different prototype with a way better concept, which they felt was way cooler.
Right.
They
So
also
I would-
had to. I'm trying to find it, and I'm not able to. But they had concept art of like, or it looked like concept
Oh
art.
yes.
And it even showed like what looked to be some kind of regional variant or new evolution to Slowpoke in it.
Right.
I don't
Yeah, so
have that image. It seems I thought I
That
did,
is
which makes me
that is
sad.
a thing too. So like gets to the core of Dusty's question, which is like, you know, how much of a chance does this have, or like why aren't there other regions here considered? You know, like this is the region that they have actually. I feel like it feels to me, as someone who doesn't know anything about this, that it is more than in just a prototype stage, because it's not anywhere in the documents that this could be in another region. And like Lumi just brought up, these are literally concept arts for the Galar region. And like maybe I'm completely, I don't know anything, but it's just, to me it feels like it's a little bit more than that. Maybe it is just prototype still, but
Also, too,
concept
all
is
the-
concept. It's not
all the
final.
what I read is like, I mean, maybe they're not hints because they do reference a lot of regions in Legends EA, but there are a lot of Galar references in that game.
true.
There are, yeah. It's funny, yeah. We got the Terra Leak information. We're like, wow, Legends Galar, what is that real? And then and then a week later, I play Legends ZA, and there's maybe like 100 references to the Galar region, the Darkest Day, Champion Leon. I'm like, okay, they're cooking.
Palkia hates
But
that man, apparently.
yeah.
Yeah.
But they also, here's the thing, in Legends ZA, they also mention Paldea a bunch of times, right?
Yes.
They also
They mention it
mention
like once,
the
don't they?
Alola region. There's
Yeah,
a
they
bunch of
mention-
references to the other
they-
regions. So I'm like, what could
They
it
mentioned
be?
those regions, but it's like not nearly as
Mhm.
much. Let's say
Galar
that. And they
is
also,
so
there's
good.
even a direct reference, that one guy with the beard that you talked to right at the beginning, and he's like, let's go to Galar next. Like essentially that's like the quote. He like literally says
not only
it.
that, so there's that guy who says next let's do some Dynamaxing in the Galar region. But then I also found one where so in the museum they have a line where they reference they say something about how Kalos and Galar had rough relations at one point in history, which works with like real world
UK and
Britain and
the
France,
the UK and Paris were infamously not on good terms,
right?
Yeah,
and then they had a line where there's like an NPC that says that pesky Galarian, is he trying to get revenge for his ancestors? And it's like, what? And then I just found on my phone, this is the exact quote. You have two tourist characters or backpacker characters. They're two NPCs. And one says, come on, let's do Paldea next. And then the other person says, I'd really rather go to Galar.
Wow.
That's like a conversation that they had. Like literally. But I don't know. I don't know.
So the question is Game Freak peppering in all of these hints to what their next game is going to be? And I feel like the answer is usually yes when you look in hindsight. But they're not tethered to anything, right?
No,
they can do whatever they want.
And one last thing is that you started this whole conversation off, Golden, by saying like they hate leaks, and since this leaked and it's still in early, let's call it development, it's like it could change, in my opinion. Like it could inspire them to change it, maybe even. So I don't know. I refer to you.
Nobody changes plans based on a leak. We just developers just hate it because it makes their life more difficult.
Well, that's good news then, because I want this to happen.
What I suspect, right? Okay, this was initially planned. This document was originally obtained in 2024, which means that in the case during the period of 2024, they were already pitching candidates for Legends 3. At this point in time, they would have confirmed, or they should have confirmed what they want Legends 3 to be. At the same time, I do not know if the writing team necessarily if the writing team for ZA would necessarily have confirmed that and got all their stuff in by the time they confirm whatever Legends 3 is going to be.
Yeah.
This could really be up in the air depending on when the production timeline has been confirmed. Right. Based on this, so I wouldn't really take ZA's dialogue as confirmation.
Right.
It could just be. It really might be just a case of us looking and seeing what we want to see because of
confirmation bias.
Yeah, it could just be confirmation bias. I wouldn't trust that as evidence.
But
the only thing I will the only thing I will say about Legends about this is that since this was specified to be a candidate and that this is still in the prototype development phase, I would not bet on it. I think it's really cool, but we don't know what other prototypes there were. Yeah. It's very possible that this was the only prototype which the leaker happened to get, that as it was the only prototype candidate which they happened to get. Because I'm pretty confident there are multiple that this prototype development division is working on is testing multiple concepts. Because whatever they need to figure out is going to be the core battle mechanic of the whole game.
Yeah.
But to be clear, you do think that a third Legends game, that's locked in. It's just the setting and story. Wow.
That's locked in.
That's
the moment they announced they were making ZA, that already confirmed that they are going to treat Legends as its own separate line from this point onwards, away from the mainline series.
You know, it's a fun theory that people like to say. I'll say this theory and then I'll say what I think. The theory is that like in the first trailer for Legends Arceus, there's 3 books and each of them were colored. So people like to be like, oh, we got Legends Arceus as the first book. And then the next book was I don't know what the theory kind of falls apart, but basically
it was ZA,
each color corresponds with another
now...
Legends game. Right. And basically I think a lot of people are like, oh, we're going to get 3 Legends games. And I'm just thinking, they're not going to stop making Legends games just because, or limit themselves. again, to those theories, right?
Mm-hmm.
The people who are making the trailers, always the team which is handling the trailers, is not the same team that plans all of these production timelines and decides what game gets made. It's entirely possible they just arbitrarily chose 3 books because they had 3 starters. 3 is a good number in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that.
I wonder if the 3 starters thing, if that would kind of work into it too, because like the purple, that could maybe be like Hisui and Typhlosion.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
So, yeah. So, well, that's awesome to hear. A new Legends game is a lock. That is really, really good to see. So on our tier list, where would you put Legends Galar? We got 100% guaranteed. We got probable. We got 50-50, likely to change, and then we got don't count on it.
I would personally put it in likely to change.
All right.
We agree, Legends 3 is more or less going to be confirmed, but what form that takes, it's at this point it's still up in the air. Galar's really cool. Who knows if that's going to be the prototype they choose?
So what I'm hearing is we could be getting a Legends game entirely set on the SSN.
Yes.
Entirely possible. Maybe who knows? Maybe at some. Yeah, that's the thing. It's entirely possible. I know it sounds really dumb. It's entirely possible one of the prototype candidates could be, okay, how does a complete ocean game work? How does a complete ocean combat game work?
Yeah.
It's entirely possible. It's prototyping. The wackiest idea, go and test it and see if it's fun.
Dude, you fit right in on the possible, right on the podcast. You just say something and you go, listen, it's entirely possible. Who knows?
Yeah, because it's prototyping. Prototyping is fair game for everything.
Oh yeah.
That's the point. You test if it's fun.
I've got a Pokemon Legends Necrozma logo right here, so I'm gonna put that next. I'm gonna put that on likely to change as well. Or no, I'll put it on don't count. I'm gonna put it on don't count on it. Don't count.
Where did that even come from?
I made it up. I made it up for the thumbnail.
I mean, hey, you know what, Dusty? If I can help you out here, look, they had Kalos DLC and Alola DLC planned for Scarlet and Violet. We did see Kalos. It wasn't as DLC, but we did see Kalos. So, maybe if they have some ideas for an Alola revisit, maybe that could be Gen 10 DLC or something.
Oh, that would be good. Please.
It isn't. I mean, there was that entire thing about Ultra Space, right? They could be, let's have a whole game set in Ultra Space.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. That would be nice. That would be the best way to do it.
I always push back because of Pokemon Wind and Wave. Like, if it's like, a very island kind of game, it kind of clashes with an Alola Legends game,
but not if it takes place in Ultra Space.
Yeah, exactly.
Have it go full sci-fi. You want to make it go into a full sci-fi space-like game? Yeah, Ultra Space, Ultra Nagol. Have it be
that's the dream.
That's one way. Who knows what the prototype division cooks? Maybe they figure out a way to make that work. We go Star Fox.
That's so exciting what you're saying, because like it makes me think, like, regardless of what we get, just the idea that like there might have been a prototype kind of pitched, if you will, of a Legends Hoenn, of a Legends Alola. Like that idea is just like it's crazy to think Game Freak might have just even thrown out the word Legends Hoenn. Like that's crazy.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely. Because again, with the first game, we didn't know what to expect. With this second game, we absolutely know at some point they would have pitched one of every region, or at least thought what are a bunch of proposals for each region which we could potentially work with. And this very well could be the proposal for Galar. If what we could do, what could we do if we made a Legends Galar? This could be it.
That's really exciting to think that every other Pokemon region had some sort of pitch attached to it and was being spoken about in the halls of Game Freak, right? At some point, not the idea that like literally every Pokemon region could have had a potential Pokemon Legends pitch.
I mean, and maybe they will one day, Dusty.
Yeah, I would. In my mind, there is no doubt that the moment Legends Arceus was successful, Game Freak was hyped because that gave them a perfect way to revisit any region they want in any capacity they want. They could do anything. and because Legends Arceus works.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Golden Owl, tell me this: what's your like number one region that you want to revisit?
Ooh.
Unova, but I know that's the longest shot.
Sure. Well, we can talk about that a little bit. Again, I also put that on the list, not because it's in the Terra Leak, but just because it had been rumored for 2 years. Pokemon Black and White 3, Pokemon Paradox Unova, Pokemon, Brilliant Black and Brilliant White Diamond, the faithful remakes of Black and White. Those Black and White remakes that had been rumored for 2 years. What's your take on that?
I think this is the longest shot. It's a tragedy because I love Unova and I loved Black and White. They are my favorite games. When I played them as a kid, I felt like, oh my goodness, we have stepped forward in the series, and then next time we stepped backwards, and it was like,
yeah.
The reason why I feel that this is they were very hesitant about revisiting Unova for the longest time, to the point where they skipped it multiple times when it was supposed in the expected timeline of getting a remake.
Really?
Was because we completely skipped over Black and White and jumped straight to X and Y.
Well,
for the Legends games. We thought we may get we were expecting a Gen 5 remake after Gen 4 we had their remake, but nope, jump scared by France. Haven't felt that since I played Team Fortress 2.
Yeah.
Black and White were very unfortunate because they were the least well-received Pokemon games at their time of release.
Yeah, I feel like that lines up with my memory of those games coming out.
Black and White Gen 5 basically we can imagine that there was a timeline split, so to speak, for verbally, where there was a timeline of if Black and White did well and if Black and White didn't do well. Because as you can see, when they made Black and White, Game Freak were experimenting with so many ideas that were not present in the series in Diamond and Pearl and Platinum. They decided to say, let's go a whole new deck. Let's have a full narrative focus. Let's go full on JRPG. They gave it the whole Destiny-esque storyline with N and whatnot. They tried so many different things with Black and White, and it all came crashing down. Sure. Because the fan base hated Black and White at the time of release.
Yeah.
They felt, why is everything different? Where is Pikachu? Where's Charizard? Where's all my favorite Pokemon? There were so many things about it that they just rejected.
And you think Game Freak is reluctant to revisit that?
Yes. They pushed out Black and White too, because I'm pretty sure they already planned it as a duology game.
Okay.
But they were so scared of what happened after Black and White that X and Y basically resorted to all of the Generation 1 pandering and whatnot.
Right.
People complained that X and Y just kept referencing Kanto and made the game extremely simple and easy.
You get the Kanto starters, no difficulty. You get a free Snorlax, you get a free Lapras. It's literally,
nothing in the game. X and Y was cool, yes, but there was nothing in the game which remotely posed difficulty. And you can I wouldn't be surprised if that was also partially the response to Black and White. Because Black and White was unusually difficult by Pokemon game standards.
Yeah, that line.
We know from even the sales of Black and White, if you look at the overall sales, it's the lowest selling main generation core game. Yeah, and still to this day.
And not just that, the merch sales as well. It's very.
Oh, I can imagine.
When a lot of Generation 5 Pokemon, when they first released, were not popular. It took a while for that to settle in. I think to this very day, people still hate Vanillux and Garbodor.
Which, I don't know why you would. They're wonderful. Those two Pokemon being available in ZA is as close as we're ever going to get to a Black and White remake.
I would even go like maybe that's why Blueberry Academy happened, is like it was their way to revisit Unova in a way that couldn't backfire on them really, right? Because it's a joint package with Kitakami. And it's not like a mainline game, so they're not going to be putting... I mean, it's part of a mainline game, but, it's DLC, not its own game, so that's going to cost less.
What I suspect was that It's similar to them releasing Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and Legends Arceus. It's them hedging their bets. Kitakami is very traditional, old school style. It's very Japanese. Everything about it feels like, yes, this is a Pokemon. This Pokemon. Blueberry Academy is them revisiting Unova, the most controversial region of its time. I wouldn't be surprised if they want to revisit Unova, but they are very uncertain about whether or not the time is right for it.
Interesting.
It could be that Blueberry is their litmus test to have a little bit of Unova flavor, to see how the fan base has truly, if they've warmed up to Unova yet. They keep putting it back in all of these Unova Pokemon, dotting them all across the games itself, giving them evolutions. King Gambit, feckin' King Gambit. They have been doing a lot to see if the fan base is ready to revisit Unova. But that said, I am not yet sure if they have decided yes, the time is right.
Sure.
Maybe they might dwell on it a bit more before going back.
That's interesting. I was gonna say, like, with the Blueberry Academy, as fans, we know it takes place in Unova, but I don't believe they marketed that at all. Like, I think that was just like Easter eggs that we kind of picked up on.
Not. Yeah,
it was a very pleasant surprise, and I think the fact that they didn't even market it, they didn't mention the word Unova once in the marketing. That's very telling.
Yeah, it's there if you want it, but it's not. Yeah, they didn't want to balk it down to say it's like a. I mean, even Kitakami feels like like you're saying it. Kitakami is a new land, a new location in a unknown region that is based on some sort of section of the real life Japanese country. So it is like in your mind, you can just apply it. You can say, oh, it's Johto, it's Kanto, it's Hoenn. You can just say whatever you want, whatever makes sense, whatever memory you want to pull on for nostalgia, you can relate it to whatever nice memory you have with the classic Pokemon game but it's still like a new location. And then the Blueberry Academy does the same thing. It's not like in the heart, the mainland of Unova. It's out in the ocean. It's just a U.S. or a Unovan territory.
Even the characters, they're Unova adjacent, right? Like, we don't see the return of Drayden and Clay. We see Drayton, the grandson of Drayden, and Lacey, the daughter of Clay.
I think that that really is quite telling of how cautious they are of doing anything related to Unova. The mere fact that, again, this is technically a game set in Unova, but nothing about the marketing once mentioned the word Unova, and it was a surprise to everybody, shows that the marketing team does not consider Unova to be a selling point for their DLC.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, that is crazy, because if it was Kanto...
If it was Kanto, they would say, this is a game, revisit Kanto. You know they would say it.
Yep.
That's
for sure.
Very true, yeah.
That is nuts.
They said that, it's a completely autonomous area set out in the ocean. Nothing about this looks like any region. It's a completely new area. So Unova is like, well,
theories?
That's a surprise.
Could the Blueberry Academy be located above the, what is it, like the ruin,
the Abyssal Ruins?
Yeah.
I saw someone
that.
break down like where they thought it was or something, and I think they like landed that it's probably like out from Castolia.
You're telling me that you're telling me that Cynthia is like a 15-minute boat ride away from this place.
Yeah.
And they didn't put her in. No way.
Sure.
No, we don't need to fight her again.
Yeah, right.
All right. Next, I want to talk about this Project Seed, the multi-region online remake. Right, this is like a Japanese. This is as close as you're going to get to a Kanto remake. But let's take a quick break, okay?
My mind is being blown from this just crazy episode. But you know what else is mind-blowing? The amount of you who are supporting us by your likes, your comments, your subscriptions, all that stuff. And some of you are even going above and beyond that, financially supporting the show. And I want to take a moment to shout out the mythical tier supporters of the show: Ryan Amphosinus, Coronet Highlander, Tyler Low 15, Normal Guy, Case, Doom Typhlosion, Gray Williams, Duke Norton, Nicholas Taylor, SEH Art Gold, Louis Gervais, Ball Guy, Slowbroke Fan 24, and the Poke Kid 01. I want to take a moment to shout out our our Arceus tier supporter, Red, and I want to give a Mega Evolved, or perhaps since we're talking a little bit about Legends Galar, a Gigantamax shout out to our Game Freak Inc. level supporters, Bramtastic and Young Smokey and Young Smokey. Did I say Young Smokey twice? I did, because he's a Game Freak Inc. supporter on YouTube and Patreon. Thank you so much, Young Smokey. Thank you, all of y'all, supporting the show.
Thank you guys
for
all of your continued support. This show is independent, and you guys keep it that way by backing us every single week. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If you I forgot what I've said a million times.
If you're invested in the show, invest in the show.
Yeah, you guys literally. I mean, it's just humbling every single week that this show continues to grow. In scope and size, but then also just by you guys showing up every single week and keeping us afloat, keeping the show cooking. So thank you all for your continued support. I don't know what else to say. I'm really, really grateful. I guess I'll say, if you want to support, there's links in the description to support on Patreon or on YouTube. You get access to, I gotta update this. You get access to one additional podcast every single week. That's 4 podcasts a month that you'll be unlocking right here. Same feed as normal. You also get access to the Discord where we do live call-in shows. We have certain battle tournaments, and we have to do an AMA. I'm seeing this right here. Ask Us Anything. We should do an AMA soon.
It's been a while.
I'm down. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Just to get a little personal, and you get 10% off merch, guys. Thank you so much. Those are the perks. Lowest tier gets everything there. And actually, the tier above that at Box Legendary, this is on Patreon or on YouTube, you actually get access to everything before, but you also get access to a holiday gift. We'll send it directly to your house. You get Lumi, your address, and we will send you a holiday gift in an envelope. It'll be it's basically a collectible. It's going to be numbered. Yeah. It's a collectible. We've been doing this every single year. You're going to get it straight to your house, and there'll be little goodies inside as well. Pokemon cards, stickers, whatever else I can cram into the envelope. whatever I can fit into an envelope that the U.S. Post Office will still ship.
You might get a dusty hair in there. Who knows?
You could get literally hair.
Then you can
this rubber
them.
Band.
Yeah.
Maybe like the lens cap to my webcam.
That'd be unfortunate, but maybe.
My AirPods. You could get my AirPods.
Oh my God, that's a great deal. Sign up today.
I know. You might. There's no promise. You could also get some Pokemon cards.
That's more likely.
And if you want your name read on the show, this is already going too long. Mythical tier or up, and we'll put you in the producer credits for every single podcast. Thank you guys so much, and back to the episode. This multi-region online remake, Pokemon Codename Project Seed. This is so cool to me, right? And I don't totally understand the full scope of what this game actually would be, but what makes me really excited is just the concept of a multi-region Pokemon game. I love that it would be set in Japan. As we said earlier, that to me, as a Westerner, feels very Pokemon, just feels very classic. I'm imagining a fully realized 3D Pokemon game, like a 3D version of like Red, Blue, and Yellow. That's like what I imagine, which if it's 3D and it's built from the ground up, there's a lot of promise there. However, this game, Project Seed, would not. So you could go to Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, and everything in between. That would
Kitakami as well.
That would include Kitakami. But this would not be a mainline game, and that's where like a lot of the questions pop up. So Golden Owl, I would love to hear your thoughts on this in general, especially when we the top level question is this actually going to happen? But I'm also interested. I'm also interested to hear like whether or not I'm interested to hear your take on this. And we were talking, like you've said, you've been to Japan many times. Like, is there anything in the region, in the country that like you think would be really cool translated into a Pokemon game? That's a lot of questions. So you got the floor.
If you want, okay, lore wise, if they really, let's say they really cook this up. Lore-wise, if they really want to justify how you get about to everywhere, you just hop on the Shinkansen and take the train for like an hour to wherever you want.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Nice.
The train to Japan go everywhere.
Yeah,
really?
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
I would rather skip the train. I would rather just walk and like travel the whole region.
That's
you
a
know?
lot, you know. Like,
To walk.
If they want to convey the scale of the region, they could say you take the train to a certain part of Kanto. You can explore a few
Yeah.
cities in Kanto. Then you take the train elsewhere to a different part of
Mm-hmm.
Hoenn, and then you explore a few of the cities there. That will allow them to have the scope of the playable size of one region while still saying, "Oh, you visited every region."
Sure. Okay.
Right.
That's cool. Okay, I get that. Each that's a good point to separate Kanto and Johto and all these regions.
Because it's all Japan, ain't it?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And what they could do is kind of what we do in Legends Arceus, where you kind of have a hub location, and then you can just fast travel to each of these wild areas. Okay, that is pretty cool.
What's interesting about it is it's supposed to be an MMO, so that's like very interesting.
Boy.
Yeah.
I have thoughts of this.
please give it to us.
Inform us.
So this is the game that everyone wants to be real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a reason. There are many reasons why GameFreak to this very day, after how many years? Nearly 30 years, have not once pulled this off.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is that Pokemon as a franchise for a long time did not line up with how an MMO functions.
Yeah.
Because if you want to make an MMO, right, that's a game, one single game, which regularly updates over a long period of time with perpetual, seemingly infinite content for years. I believe Warcraft is still running to this very day.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
World of Warcraft.
Final Fantasy 14. Final Fantasy 14 at least has been running for nearly a decade. It's a game where they will keep continuously adding new content to keep doing, exploring, and so on and so forth. It's an ever-growing game. The problem is that Pokemon's entire form of monetization is not about having one game which they continually update. It's about making new games and having new creatures come out with every single game, which they can then sell merchandise of.
Yeah.
The game itself, how well it performs, is less important. And having a new game is a lot more exciting and gets a lot more eyes on the franchise than saying, okay, Final Fantasy now has a new expansion updates.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like what you're saying is this MMO style Pokemon game, Project C, would actually almost cannibalize the current model for that Pokemon runs under, right? Where they introduce a new game, and then that opens the floodgates and is a format or like a it's a platform. It's a jumping off board for them to introduce new Pokemon and characters and designs, which they can sell merchandise. And this I get what you're saying. This model would basically break that. I guess I want to push back and say, like, how many other Japanese inspired Pokemon regions could they do? I guess theoretically they could do. I'm looking at one. I'm just looking geographically. You could probably fit in 4 more regions here. But also this could just live alongside the mainline games as a different offering, you know?
And that's the entire reason why I suspect now is the time where they have thought, okay, let's maybe look into actually trying to see if this can work. Because Pokemon as a franchise has now grown, and gaming in general has now grown beyond our previous mediums of, okay, single entry games.
Yeah.
Live service games are now more commonplace, and they do not necessarily clash with what is existing. I believe, what's that Mario Kart mobile game?
Mario Kart.
That's still running.
Go, something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. That's still running, and it doesn't necessarily clash. Pokemon Go itself is also still running.
Yes.
And it doesn't negatively harm the main franchise either. Pokemon itself right now, and gaming in general, has grown to the point where Pokemon as an IP can cover so many different things.
Yeah.
And they might have felt that now is the time where if they release a Pokemon live service game, it would still legitimately be a lifestyle offering. They want to make Pokemon into this big lifestyle franchise.
Right.
It's everywhere. It can be in everything. You can buy Pokemon branded umbrellas. I don't know.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people would buy it. They may feel that with the way the gaming industry is right now, and with how Pokemon is, they don't have to worry about it cannibalizing it anymore. New kids will still get a new game if they sell it to them. But having this around would be able to entertain their existing fans. Champions is another. Pokemon Go is likely the biggest push for this. Because Pokemon Go's success and the fact that it is able to coexist harmoniously with their mainline franchise proves that if they make an MMO, it might not be a detriment. New kids would still be completely willing to buy a new Pokemon game rather than just play Go all the way.
Yeah, and I would say this MMO could function the same way that Go does, where it's all downstream of the mainline games. They could introduce, like, I guess the appeal of this MMO is that they could flesh out this, the entirety of they could adapt the entirety of Japan in the Pokemon world. But when we get a new game that takes place in Australia or wherever, all of those new Pokemon that are in Generation 10 could then slowly be drip fed into and made available in live events or whatever type of DLC content within the MMO. That's how I'm imagining it.
Correct. It'll be following a similar pattern to how I suspect Champions will handle its updates, where Champions will just exist as a perpetual live service product. It gives people a reason to buy Nintendo Online, I guess. It will exist as this perpetual live service product. It will constantly receive updates from the main series as the Pokemon get pushed in, like our new Mega Evolutions and whatnot.
Yeah.
When a new Pokemon comes out, they don't have to worry about how it mechanically functions anymore, because Champions will handle all of the base game functions.
Yeah.
The core gameplay.
Yeah.
So I can see it functioning like that. They'll just add a new expansion pack, and it'll be fine.
Yeah. I think this MMO style game, I feel like this has been in the DNA of modern Pokemon games for a very long time. Like we started, I think it became more apparent with the DLC, and it became more apparent with the Switch titles. But like Pokemon has always been dropping like monthly raid events or monthly shiny hunting events or like all these things to main. Scarlet and Violet has literally had an event every single month that has kept me coming back to the game regardless of how good it looks.
Not only that, but like,
which is not very good.
With Black and White, you being able to visit each other's worlds with the Intralink, and then you then expand. Eventually, you get the Festival Plaza, where like I think you could visit each other's plazas or something.
Lumi, absolutely.
Sword and Shield, you're seeing each other in the wild area. The Union Circle in Scarlet and Violet.
But the multiplayer aspect of an MMO has been in the DNA of Pokemon since the very beginning, right? With the link cable.
Yes and no. What you're looking for, the term you're looking for is not MMO, it's live service.
Okay.
Pokemon has always had multiplayer in its DNA, yes. Yeah. But what they've been recently trying to do is give you a reason to continuously play their game over a long period of time by continuously adding new updates, new events, and new contents.
I love it.
Are you familiar with gacha gaming culture?
Yeah,
I think we're familiar with that term. Yeah,
vaguely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Genshin Impact and whatnot. Those are games which are live service. They basically just keep adding, or not even that. Let's say a different example: Overwatch.
Yeah.
Add new content every once in a while. Have people come back. Have a new event. Halloween's here. That kind of stuff.
Master ZX would count as that, right?
Oh right, I forgot about that. That's another live service example. They want to keep people. The advantage of live service is that it keeps people who are already in the franchise gives them something to invest more time into. Whereas the new games itself bring in new people into the franchise.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It makes a lot of sense. I'm thinking about how it works with generations. I know we were talking about, like it not cannibalizing, but it almost is like, because we're at the 30th anniversary and it's Generation 10. Yeah. It's like we've been speculating on the podcast and just in general that, after this, something changes. Like people were like, it's going to be a big reboot of Pokemon kind of thing. But I mean, those are just speculations. This, in a sense, does make me feel like this could be like some kind of reboot. Even the actual Generation 10 game, the Wind and Wave that we were talking about earlier, mention some MMO aspects. And it's just odd to me because, like we've been talking about, live service games, they last forever. They last, they could last a decade or longer, So it's interesting to, I don't really have a question. I guess I just am like putting my thoughts out there about how this could affect the future, or like, is this Pokemon in the future? I don't.
I feel like this game, Project Seed, is promising it has the scope and it has the size, right? It feels like a really big deal. It's this open world, literally. I mean, yeah, it's an MMO. It's this giant open world, expansive area that you can play forever. I think when I'm imagining what I want to see Pokemon do, when I say Gen 10, like what should they do for Gen 10? And like I have all these like fun ideas that could like change the system or the series. Pokemon probably doesn't want to change too much because they probably just want to keep. They have a good thing going, so it would make sense for a new type of game to show up like this MMO. And I do think actually a lot of the things that I'm usually imagining it is kind of present in this idea, this MMO, right? Everything that I've seen of Project Seed, which isn't a lot, but like the themes and the scope of this game really excite me. Because again, it's like what would Red, Blue, and Yellow look like if it was made today, right? What would that actually be? It wouldn't be all the things that we see that are still present in Pokemon games. It probably wouldn't be turn-based. There's so many like, little things that are just carryovers. And I'm like, could this be that game? Could this be a new type of experience built from the ground up? You can still trade. You can still battle. You can do all these side quests. You can do contests. You can do gym badges. You can defend your title. You could start your own gym. You could create secret bases. Like there's so many fun things that are present in every single Pokemon game. And if I could just fold those into a single game, that's what I want. That's what I want so bad, more than anything. I think that would be so much fun.
So this is exactly why I always say this is the game which the player base has always wished was real.
Yeah.
But it will never happen.
Okay.
Because if a game comes out like this, I believe that GameFreak will take the opportunity to simply just say, let's combine everything we've done. They would say, let's do something completely new, off the wall, which the players had never seen before. If this game exists, we wouldn't get gym badges. We would get something different. This will be whatever structure this game, if it comes out, and that's an if.
Yeah.
If it comes out, whatever structure this game has will be something completely different, which is nothing like the mainline games, because this is absolutely not a mainline game.
Yes.
You will not have gym badges. You will not have totems. Think back to Legends Arceus.
But they'll create something new. Like
it'll be something,
and that's fine.
New.
That's fine.
There
will still be battling. There's still gonna
be.
I hear what you're saying, and I agree. I think you're right that Game Freak has shown time and time again that they would rather introduce new ideas than retread on the same things. But I'm not. I'm limited by what they've already given me. But all I want to do is battle and trade and level up and collect things and like. I do care about secret bases. I'm excited for Pokopia because I'm like, could this be a thing where it's like I can actually build my little base with my Pokemon? That sounds fun.
Animal Crossing,
right? So we could see that. I think those things would be present in this game. Because it's still at the DNA of Pokemon, and also this is a Game Freak title. That's another thing. This is Game Freak.
Yes.
This isn't Ilka. This isn't Niantic. This isn't whoever made Pokemon Masters. This is Game Freak.
Pokemon Masters.
DNA or Dina?
I don't know. Yeah,
Dina?
DNA. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's DNA. It's DNA.
Yeah, it's interesting. I also think it's late. It's after. This is slated after the Legends 3 game as well. So like it's even further away. So I don't know.
Okay.
Like I instantly when I saw this and I saw it leak, I was like, I don't even know if this is gonna happen. Like I was like, I don't think this is gonna happen. It's just
there's another bigger tell of that than just the date itself. If you go back to the website, could you go back to the website for a bit?
Yes.
Yes. If you read it there, this ambitious project is being developed by Game Freak's experimental development division. it's not even reached prototype yet. They have no idea if this is even possible.
Okay.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
And it's just next generation, which means that it might skip Switch 2. We are in Switch 2 generation right now.
No,
we just started. That's 10 years. Assuming that's what it means. Granted, it could be translation. It could, next generation could mean something completely different.
Yeah, next generation can mean like generation 11.
Yeah,
or something.
Or
even generation
engine, maybe even like
Gen 11 would be next generation from when this was taken, right?
Gen 10, yeah, because they took this from Gen 9, I guess.
Yeah. The fact that this is in the leak, it tells me that GameFreak is aware that there's potential for this idea, and that they are interested in trying it out. But they have no idea if this is remotely possible, because this will be a fully online Pokemon game. Pokemon right now has always been an offline experience with online components, and it's always been a single player experience.
Yeah.
This is completely. We already have people right now who are upset at the idea that they have to buy online, pay for online to play Pokemon ZAs online to get Mega Stones.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is, it's a bit silly, because you're saying that you never want to play any Switch online game ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's that one's a bad argument.
It's a bit silly. But the fact that, I know it's a bit dumb, but what I mean to say is that Pokemon has always been an offline experience with online added in. This is a fully online game. It's appealing to a completely different demographic from what they're used to. It will be a completely different game structure, because what do you have as 100% online gameplay? Do we have the technology to support running a server non-stop? Remember that Pokemon Go crashed when it first came out because they could not have the server load. Do we have the infrastructure to support this? Can this even be done? What would the mechanic be? It's experimental for a reason. They don't know what this could be or if it's even possible.
Yeah. And so how long would something like this run? Like if they do pull this off, let's say it actually happens, how long would it even run for? Is it like 5 years? Is it 10 years?
They could set a 10-year timeline. Genshin Impact, when they first came out, it had how many years timeline in advance?
I don't know.
We don't know, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been going for a long time.
So these with a live service game like this, there is a lot of planning. There are a lot of question marks. It's very easy to say that, just combine every region into one. What happens after you combine every region? Do you make a whole new region? Do you need to add new Pokemon for this? What do we need to have new mechanics? We can't do standard level scaling. We can't go from level 1 to 100 in an MMO.
You're right. They would create some sort of new raid gimmick. It wouldn't be Gigantamax. It wouldn't be Megas. It would be probably something brand new. This game would have new lore.
Yeah,
it'd be like a new gimmick for these Japanese regions.
There are so many questions, design questions, that need to be answered for this game to exist before it can even enter prototyping.
Sure.
So, and even if it does enter prototyping, there's a very good chance they may say, we cannot do this.
Yeah.
Because again, if you want to run a live service game, you must dedicate a fixed amount of, you have to dedicate developers to maintain this thing and continually make content for this for years. Game Freak already as is struggling to get all their shit together and make and produce their Pokemon games on time.
Yeah.
Right.
This is not a question of money. This is a question of, do we have enough people to maintain this?
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm just wondering, like, okay, I mean, if we go to the tier list and we're like, all right, maybe this, is likely to change, or maybe don't count on it. Like, I'm thinking about just like the concept of this MMO, the fact that they're thinking about it.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm like, I to me, beyond the game and the structure of the game and the genre and the mechanics, I'm also just thinking about like, okay, we are moving, like they're about to hit this big anniversary. This game's chugging along. We're next gen. to me, this tells me the existence of this game tells me that Game Freak is thinking about the broader lore in the fictional history of this Pokemon world, right? They're thinking about an interconnected region. And they're also thinking about going back to Kanto. And I know every time I say that you think I'm kidding, but I'm like I really do want to see Kanto, Johto in these old regions, not top down like 2D pixel art. I would love to see them. I don't think Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee counts because Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee is still top down and the whole world is grid based. I want to see this concept art is gorgeous. Like the original concept that inspired Pokemon, Red, Blue, and Yellow. That's what I want to see in 3D. I think it would be so much fun. And so I'm excited as a fan at the idea of a multi-region Pokemon game. I'm excited at the idea of an MMO. I haven't never played an MMO. I mean, I would love to play this though.
If nothing else, I think that you could see your multiple regions separately, and like you might see Kanto in 3D one day, or Johto, Hoenn, whoever in like 3D non-grid based because of Legends games, because of DLC. I mean, we see that not only did we go to a piece of Unova and to Kitakami, which is a piece of some region we haven't been to, but like when they were conceptualizing it, they straight up said Kalos and Alola. Like that is on the table for them. And those are relatively recent regions, mind you. Like, I don't know. So I'm pretty hopeful that we'll see these regions in 3D someday.
They will absolutely revisit the regions themselves. The fact that the Legends line of games exists already tells us they plan to visit a lot of different regions. That's a way to revisit them.
Yeah.
Whether they'll take form of it in this game itself, I am a lot more doubtful.
Okay.
Because that's the thing which I always say. This is the game which everybody wants to be real. And I fear that because everyone wants this so much to be real, they may put a bit too much stock into that belief and be very disappointed that this game never materializes.
Listen, I've been disappointed before. It's all good.
There are so many questions that need to be answered before it can even begin conceptualization. That from if I'm being realistic, I would not put any money into this right now. I would not bet a single dollar that this game might ever release.
Yeah.
If we get another Terra League like 5 years from now, then yes, I would. Then we'll probably see if that actually is happening and they manage to figure out something.
Sure.
Yeah.
But right now, with how early this thing is and the fact that it's still experimental, the most we can say is that Game Freak is interested in the idea, and nothing more.
Do you think would you hypothetically, if it were not listed as an MMO, do you think it'd be more credible? Like, do you think that's like the big, like, do you think a multi-region game that's not an MMO might be more possible?
If it's the only way I could imagine a multi-region game working is if it's still, assuming it still sticks to the same base structure of level 1 to 100 kind of stuff, is if every region is like extremely small. That would feel less like you're visiting every region and more like you're having you're flying on a world tour kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah, we did just see in the latest Mega Dimension trailer that for the first time, although it's temporary, for the first time we saw Pokemon levels breaking past 100. And my first thought was, nice. My first thought was, not in this game because those levels are temporary boosts like a Mega. But I'm like, in future games, again, if they're gonna create the precedence that we can go past level 100 in future games, could we actually see a multi-region game or where like DLC content allows you to train your Pokemon past level 100? I don't know.
I see that there is already a lot of groundwork, whether or not they intended to or not. A lot of groundwork has already been laid to get players used to the idea of non-conventional Pokemon gameplay mechanics. throughout
sure.
all the other games. We've seen it in Scarlet and Violet's DLC with Kitakami and Blueberry Academy. They were struggling to give a solution to a problem, which is how do you create DLC content that is challenging for a player who theoretically has level 100 everything? How do you create battles which are meaningful for that? And their solution then was saying you have to go and catch Blueberry Academy exclusive Pokemon and effectively restart. They did that again with Isle of Armor as well, if I recall. You have to go and catch, you have to go and train a couple Fu and things.
Right.
And they were like, it's a double battle.
Yeah,
Right.
they can
Okay,
try to
great.
figure out ways to break to force soft reset a player's progress in order to make the DLC campaigns actually have some kind of challenge. Mega Dimension is their newest idea of that, where it's saying you can still use your level 100 Pokemon.
Yeah.
That too bad. Annihilate's level 150. Have fun.
Sheesh.
Go figure out how to go and match that level, kind of thing. So probably add a different progression system for that.
Yeah.
Interesting. For better or worse, it is trying to get players used to to break players out of that traditional mentality of level 1 to 100 and all the conventional progression methods. I believe if we get into Pokemon Seed or whatever this is, we're gonna have some way to reset or soft reset things like MMOs do.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, they could just get rid of levels altogether, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't even know what this looks like.
If nothing else, they need to answer a question, which is how on earth do we get players to not just run the same 6 Pokemon throughout the entire game?
I mean, they could
to actually change out team members.
They could do in Let's Go and in Pokemon Go. They use CP, and that's just kind of like, they have that, and then basically the trainer levels up, not your Pokemon.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an interesting twist. And I could see something similar to that. You know what? Yeah, this game could just be like it's like what if Pokemon Go was an actual game and there was a region that wasn't. It's like instead of like the real life world being the region, what if like there's a world in game, and we could see some similarities in that regard. It's so cool. It's so cool.
There's a lot. Again, like I said, this game has a lot of question marks. There's a lot. There are. Within this base concept, there are so many ways to do anything, and any possible decision you pick will have its own string of how does this work? How does that work? Is it with a lot? Every possible option you take has will run into its own logistical difficulties. It's a very difficult thing to figure out.
All right, so I'm gonna, based on what you're saying, I'm gonna put this new Pokemon MMO in likely to change, or would you put it in don't count on it?
I would put it in don't count on it because again, GameFreak is interested in it, but they have not yet even figured out the fact that it's experimental means that they don't even know it's possible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, man, rest in peace.
And
then for Generation 11, codename Project 2030. This is this initiative marks the beginning of development for Pokemon Generation 11, which is currently being prototyped alongside the ongoing production of Pokemon Gaia Generation 10.
Wind and waves, as we found out.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
This is a bit silly because we may as well just put this in as confirmed because there's no way it's not going to be a Generation 11.
Sure, that's a good point. That's a good point.
It's true. It is true.
I was thinking we don't know anything about it, so everything about it can change. But you're right, it is Generation 11.
I mean, we don't even know what would change because all we know is that it exists.
I do think it's crazy that it's 2030 though. Because it's not the typical 3-year development.
Sure.
I think it's 4 this time.
No,
again.
not even that. But it was. This is when they were proposing Gen 10 to be released in 2025. So it was a 5-year.
True.
Break.
Yeah. Actually, Lumi, are you sure about that? Because I think
scroll up and look at Gen 10 maybe. Because I know that at least for the Legends games, they were the Ho-Oh and Lugia. They were saying Gen. Second half. Oh no, 2026. Okay.
Yeah, because if ZA was supposed to be out in 2024, or even the Johto game was going to be out in 2024, and then ZA took its place. Supposed to be out in 2024. Then 2025, we were supposed to get the ZA DLC. That was like this year.
Oh,
and
okay.
then next
So
year,
you think
next year is always going to be Gen 10.
Okay.
So, but it's still odd to me. I mean, it says I guess they're moving to a 4-year development period. I mean, since there's technically always going to be always is a strong word, but a Legends game coming every time, it's like it fills another year up that they can take to make.
You know
this
what? We
game
had
too, I guess.
their calendar. I'm looking on their calendar now. What was the name for Gaia? It's on the calendars. It was always going to release in 2026.
Mega Oasis, Mega Turtle, Synapse.
Which makes sense as well. Pokemon in the past had always been about like a 3-year time gap between generations.
Sure.
Because in the past it was tied to individual cartridge release sales. Now, in the modern day with DLC and with the Legends line and with Ilka, with so many other supporting companies out there, Pokemon has really expanded. They've kind of realized that they don't need to rely exclusively on the mainline games to introduce new Pokemon anymore.
Yeah, which is nice, actually.
Like
to me,
look at Legends ZA. It introduced a bunch of Mega Evolutions. That's your marketing settled for the next. That's going to be the next line of plush toys that are coming out in the next year or so.
What's crazy about that is they have like no time to do it either. Like, I guess they're going to market it next year, but it's like on top of the Gen 10 marketing.
They got time.
Yeah, I guess it is like the early part too.
Yeah, Gen 10 will not be it's not officially released, not officially announced, most likely until February, which gives them that very awkward reason of why they have to release the DLC now, because now when the heck are you gonna release it?
Yeah,
Gen 10
for sure.
will just wash away everything. They still have a long time to go and market and sell the Mega Evolutions before they announce Generation 10. Anyways, they've also realized that with their whole bunch of supporting games, they are no longer 100% dependent on the mainline series to introduce new designs anymore. Pokemon Go has its own original Pokemon.
Yes, Meltan and Melmetal. That I agree with you. I think that's a really cool thing, and I would like to see more of that. Like we've talked, it would be cool if like Pokemon Champions debuts new Megas or new Pokemon or new designs. I don't know if that's going to happen though. Like the Meltan Melmetal thing happened once, but I agree with you. I think it's a possibility.
I wouldn't be surprised if Champions has a few new stuff, a few new designs when it first releases, but it's not so likely that it'll add new things after that. Maybe a few in production for live service, but they'll probably just be receiving retroactively all the new stuff for other games rather than pushing new designs itself.
I wonder because Champion specifically is run. I mean, it's a GameFreak title, so that's what makes me think. Okay, if GameFreak's developing all the creatures, or if they're Game Freak's got control of like the lore, let's say, right? They can introduce new things. Then yeah, I could see them just kind of shoehorning some of those things into their version of a live service game.
So I would very much expect when they release, thanks to the fact that I would not be surprised if they have been trying to push the introduction of new designs and spread them out over multiple games now, rather than just purely hinging on the mainline series as a way to afford to space out their release schedule a bit more.
Yeah,
because now
I think we've almost seen that a little bit.
What was it? Like, we technically got a new design itself within that new Pokopia game, if you think about it.
That's true.
Like
the human Ditto form.
Right.
I think it's
true. Very marketable design. You can see that as a plush toy.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well,
they might even have them already.
Even with like they've got Pokopia is like it's on the docket. It's going to get DLC later. There
Which
was
is crazy
even,
too.
At one point, it was supposed to, in its very early development. So it was originally called Oasis, and they ultimately like kind of scrapped it and came back to it and revived it as Mega Oasis. And when they were proposing like Oasis, one thing they proposed is that it could have home connectivity. So it makes you wonder, maybe they drop an exclusive Pokemon, an exclusive form in it that could connect to home,
Special Ditto.
Sure, yeah.
That's how the human form Ditto is playable in a Pokemon game. You can find
Oh my god.
That'd be wild.
That's crazy. That'd be kind of cool. That would be kind of cool.
Mega Punch, sure.
Yeah.
you can see that. That would be a way to introduce a brand new Pokemon in a non-mainline game.
Right.
Star of the show, literally.
Yeah, so I guess the question is like, okay, obviously Generation 11 is in development, and all it really is just like, okay, it's on our timeline. What elements of a Pokemon game would be in development or would have already been created or being worked on in Gen 11?
Where is Gen 11 at in development?
Gen 11 right now, they are still assembling the team.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you go up to the top, it's outright mentioned in the. Go back down to Gen 11, all the way to the bottom. Yes. A bit further down, please. Thank you. Yes. Development is being handled by a joint team composed of members from the R&D division, the concept and visual studio, and their key staff is still working across Generation 10 and Gen 11 simultaneously.
Yes.
So we know which one's got the bigger priority right now. It's going to be Gen 10. What I suspect they're figuring out right now is what's going to be the generational gimmick. They're probably conceptualizing a bunch of ideas. What will be the next Terrestrialize, the core gameplay gimmick.
Right.
They're probably cooking up new Pokemon designs as we speak.
Yes.
Always.
So you think they have the region then, if they're cooking up new designs?
No, not yet.
Oh, so you think they come up with like the designs before the region then?
A bit of both ways. They probably would have a lot of conceptual ideas, but they will probably have picked a region at the start, but they will obviously change it later on.
I feel like the region is less important than we as fans. Like, I feel like the region is not that important until it's cemented, and then it's like, okay, it's fun to, as a fan, piece it together. But really, the region is, I don't know. I feel like most Pokemon games.
When I say the region, I mean like the bases, because like if you look at Galar, its dex was overtly British, right? Like and very tied to it's true for all regions, I think, but especially like Galar, I think is the biggest one. Like Mr. Rhyme, Galarian Wheezing, and then even things like Phalanx, Runerigus, Berserker, they're all like tied to British history, British folklore, all that.
Yeah.
And so while I don't think like the region, like them going, it's called Paldea is important. I imagine like the basis, like them going, it's Spain, is maybe important to the designs.
I think if I could, I mean, just a thought I have, and then maybe Golden Owl, but like I feel like it's all iterative, and a lot of designs that are created along the way. It's like once it's time to put together a dex, they grab designs and then also create new designs, and then the old designs that they're pulling up, they'll just like retroactively like make them fit or redraft them to work with whatever the concept is. But I also think, like you're mentioning Phalanx, that's not British. You can make it.
No, but it is for that's what I'm saying is it's.
But you can
British
make a
in the sense
connection
of the history. Same with Runerigus and for Berserker, they're not British.
Sure.
Those are Viking related, but it ties well because the history of that area is that they were at one point a part of the Roman Empire. They were at one point conquered by Vikings.
Yeah.
So what we've got right now is we've got an odd chicken and egg scenario situation. We don't know exactly, because the thing about design is the starting point could be from anywhere. We don't know where it begins.
Yeah.
It's very possible that right now and right here and now, when they are brainstorming ideas, they could have said, okay, our proposed regions could be, I don't know, Australia, China, Greece.
They mentioned Canada.
Sure.
Yeah.
Canada. these could be our candidates for maybe this region. Why? Maybe they've chosen it for demographic reasons, for whatever reasons. As the final decision of when this or what the region is will probably not come into play for a while. But during this time, they probably would already be drafting up designs for new evolutions and new Pokemon for these particular regions. Because you will notice that even though a lot of Pokemon in their respective regional dexes are regional specific, there are a few which aren't. For example, Ice Cube, the penguin with the ice blockade. Nothing about that's British.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a penguin that randomly washed up on the shore of the UK. There was like a big news thing back then.
This is what I think about Galar, though. I think your point actually like supports this, which is it could have been different for Galar, because when you look at other regions, if you take it from different regions, you probably can't put the same twist on it that you're doing, Lumi. I think Galar might have been, maybe Galar was decided a long time ago that it was always going to be, it was always going to be England for that specific generation. But you know, they didn't know that about Paldea. Like they decided Spain much later. Maybe it was Egypt before, or they had both in tandem. So like, I do think
it is Sprigatito really, you know, Iberian inspired? Is Sprigatito really
actually,
Spanish?
Actually, that one, yes.
But no. I would say is Sprigatito a Spanish, or is the English name just invoking in reinforcing that they want you to think that it's Spanish?
I mean, no, right? it's overtly, like Meowscarada is overtly
it's a cat.
Iberian.
It's
an
cat.
Iberian
it's
lynx. Look up a picture of an Iberian lynx. It's not a cat. It's an Iberian lynx, Dusty.
I'm telling no. If you look at any other, I don't know. I'm like, okay, well, Quaxley. Oh, but it's this. It's that. I feel like when we
Quaxley,
it's very easy to retro. Okay, great. I think it's very easy to retroactively make things make sense with the region, because you can just draw a bunch of connections.
Sure.
But you can do that with anything.
Sure.
You can do that with literally anything.
I will say, though, that in the case of the starters gets very special treatments all the time. So it's very possible, very likely that the starters will be having multiple iterations of the starters until they finally decide what they finally want. And that will take a long time, because the starters are going to be the starters are some of the most important Pokemon they have to get right for each region, each generation.
Yeah,
that's why with every single starter, it feels very... Look at all the Galar starters. They're all very British in flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah, like look at these buggers.
Yeah.
It took a while to revise them, as you can see.
Yeah,
we've got the water bunny, the now infamous water bunny starter for the beta version of the Hoenn,
the
Pokemon
bunny
starters.
Bunny Mudkip.
Yeah, bunny Mudkip.
I'm sorry, but Mudkip is better.
Amen.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Most people do think that. I am of the opposite.
This guy's cool, but Mudkip is. I like Mudkip. I don't know.
I just like rabbits. That's
like
probably
Mudkips.
why.
I like Mudkip.
Mudfish, I think.
So, yes, the starters get very special treatments, as we have seen. A better example would be stuff like Bombardier.
Sure.
Why is that in Paldea? Or Dondozo. Why is there sushi and
Dondozo's a good one.
And a sushi chef whale? Catfish.
Yeah.
Why is there a sushi chef? Why is there a sushi chef themed catfish in Spain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only point I'm trying to make. I feel like I just think that like it's very. I just want to be aware that like as Pokemon fans, it is fun to make things make sense, but they don't always initially make sense, or like from the plant, from the creation of these designs. Like you can be like, oh, like I'm sure there's a person or some sort of connection that
there actually
sushi.
is. I already know.
I know exactly. You can make the connection, but
here's the thing though with like there's already a connection to it, is that we're talking about these things being in development, right? So like maybe this was just at first, let's make a sushi fish, and that's it. And then much later on, they added in a bunch of details that make it
Make it
reference
fit,
something
sure.
else.
Yeah.
So like because we've seen from the Terra League, there's beta designs of these Pokemon. You know,
Right.
like there's even earlier designs that have nothing to do with the final design. So it's hard to just like put something somewhere in the timeline because we don't know it.
Like this is like on screen is your original Scrafty from Generation 3. It's
love
this
him.
little blue and yellow little weirdo.
Oh, my favorite is the beta character. That thing is nightmarish.
Oh yeah, the horrifying like eldritch
I love
horror
beta
character.
I mean, I do too. It is pretty cool. Like this is like.
I mean, this is also
like the
concept art.
Mhm.
It's great.
I know, but ooh.
It's so freaky.
I do like it a lot.
Gen 2 was an interesting time because that was the point where, again, Pokemon's future was not set in stone. There were very few rules on what is allowed to be a Pokemon.
Sure.
Sure.
This is indicative of that.
For sure. Yep.
So what was I saying? Yes, Pokemon designs are created for a variety of reasons. Some of them are for functional purposes. Some of them are regional specific. There's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of motivating factors which push and make the decision of saying we should have a Pokemon that is about this. Sometimes it's mechanical. Sometimes you want to push a new ability. Sometimes you want to create meta for some reason. Who knows?
Right.
So I wouldn't put too much stock in seeing a final design and trying to trace back and figure out what was the initial source of that, because there are so many layers of obfuscation and changes which have happened that it makes it almost impossible to track what was the original starting point of that Pokemon design.
I think it's cool too because it's like I'm like thinking about because it helps me. Like it doesn't lessen my appreciation to think that like, okay, this wasn't created specifically for this region. Instead, it makes me think, oh, there could have been 100 different versions of this creature that came into existence that is now canon. And then in my mind goes, what if those things all could potentially exist one day? You know?
Yeah.
Like it just broadens my appreciation, honestly.
Like in Generation, what was it? In the Space World demo, the 1997 Space World demo of Gold and Silver, there was an anchor shark and an eel. One generation later, that would eventually sort of become Sharpedo and Sharpedo and that
Huntail.
Huntail.
Huntail. Yeah, Huntail. I can never remember. There's too many Pokemon.
Yeah, it's true.
There's 1,025 and we're growing. It's pretty bad.
We do this stuff every single day, so we're just like we gotta know
I'm
all.
getting old. My memory's not what it used to be.
That too. I feel you.
Yeah, this is so cool. Honestly, I think Golden, we got to have you back on for another episode just about beta Pokemon. We were talking offline, and that was an option for. Yeah, just like how there's different options for Pokemon that can make it into existence, there's different versions of podcasts that make it into existence. So let's have you on another time about beta Pokemon. I think that'd be like a lot of fun. So if we're looking at our tier list right here, you know, I'm gonna move. Like where's everything going? We got Pokemon Waves Generation 10 is 100% confirmed at this point. And you think most of what we have is like pretty much in development or pretty much confirmed? Most of the information we have about it.
Yeah, the fact that Mega Dimension, Champions, and Pokopia has all already been publicly announced means that everything which they've already shown locked in.
Okay, great.
There will be some changes, but off screen.
I would almost want to push back on Gen 10 a little bit just because of my speculative mind. It's like since it hasn't been officially revealed, like we technically don't know if it will be revealed on Pokemon Day. Like we assume, and it's very smart to assume that it would be. I guess we have this that it is supposed to be the second half of 2026, but it's just like, you know, what if they didn't want to do that? I don't know. That's just me saying what if, but I really obviously believe that it will be on Pokemon Day.
They don't do a mainline game for the 30th anniversary. They're just like, we're skipping.
I mean, you don't know what happens in development, you know?
No, for sure. But yeah, I mean,
what do you think, Golden?
Okay, there are three possibilities. The first is that everything has gone more or less according to plan. We see Gen 10 get announced on Pokemon Day. It releases on 2026. Everything goes according to plan. Here, fine. That's case A. Case B. something fucked up.
Wow.
And if something fucked up, there are two options. The first is that we say, screw it, F it, we ball. We ensure that our game releases at this time regardless, because it's the 30th anniversary. There is way too much marketing momentum to pass up. We need to get the game out. Yeah. Even if it's not fully ready, we need it out.
Yeah.
Which I think would be the case if that happened.
Because Pokemon is more than the games. It's biggest media IP in the world.
We were talking about it earlier that they planned Johto for the 25th anniversary. I think that they planned this game for the 30th anniversary as well. Like they were like, it has to be on that date. So just a little addition there, but please continue.
Yes. But Legends is a bit less serious than the mainline series.
Yeah, true.
If they decide that if this is the option to take, which I expect them to take that, we will see it release regardless of how ready it is. It may not look as nice as we hope, but it will still release on time. This is what I call the Sonic 06 methods.
Oh boy.
You have all these terms. Yeah.
That's not good.
Because Sonic 06 was the 15th anniversary game for Sonic the Hedgehog. And they said, F it, we release. And, well, that happened. Yeah. The other this is probably less disastrous though. Sonic 06 is a special kind of hell. The other option is that they say our game is not ready. We cannot release it in this state. Not even in good conscience. We're saying that if we release it, it will damage the franchise. It is better to pass up the 30th anniversary than to release this game.
That'd be really bad.
That's bad.
That
is a very catastrophic. Something has gone horribly wrong.
Especially since they thought Scarlet and Violet was in a good state to drop. So how bad does this game have to be for them to go, we cannot drop it on the 30th, you know?
Based on Scarlet and Violet, it's coming out. Like if they push that, then this is going out.
So
all right.
That's the Fire Emblem Engage method, where they basically skip their anniversary entirely and release their game 1 to 2 years later, and people did not buy Engage.
Yeah,
that's true.
But I suspect that we are on track because of ZA and Mega Dimension.
Yeah, because they pushed it. Yeah.
Yes, if ZA maybe release it now, fine. But if we were not on track for Generation 10, they would not they would not push the Mega Dimension DLC right now. They would have been able to afford to say, okay, DLC 6 months later.
Yep.
Kind of thing.
Like even if
that
it's
makes so much
finished,
sense.
do you think they would have just reserved it for later?
Correct, because they need to space out. If they don't have a Gen 10, they need to space out their Pokemon content to last a year.
Right.
Yeah.
And they don't have much. They got what? Champions, the DLC, and Pokopia. And Pokopia, as much as it looks cool, it ain't carrying.
Right.
Yeah, no, totally. So yeah, 100%.
I think we're on track.
I agree.
Legends Johto, I'm throwing it out. I'm not counting on it. Legends Galar, you think it's likely to change, but like, you don't think it's a 50-50? You think it's probable?
The fact that there's going to be a Legends tree is set in stone. What form Legends tree will take could be anything. I don't want to put any stock in that it will be Galar. I wouldn't even say it's 50-50 because there's so many other regions out there.
Yeah.
Who knows what other prototypes they have?
Sure.
Yeah.
But don't you think, I would think if we have all of this information, like I guess I'm assuming most of everything was captured in this data breach, right?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. We don't know.
If you remember, when you went back there, it said it was in the prototype division, and it was specifically mentioned to be one of the candidates.
Okay.
We are speculating based on what we have, what we can currently see with this specific build. We don't know what are the other candidates, or how far are they in or how far are they along in production or prototyping. For all we know, there could be 4 other prototypes of the exact same level and scale of development as this. And all of this right now, it looks nice, but remember, these are all pre-made assets. None of these assets are original.
Yeah.
The UI is Legends Arceus' UI.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The
All right,
models are all existing Pokemon. Nothing here there has been nothing prepared. When I look at this screenshot, I am not seeing a single new asset which has been made for this game.
Sure.
Mhm.
What about
So that tells
the image like with the weird slow poke like evolution ish thing? Like that seems so weird because it's like it's a new design. Like that's
it's
not this one right here in the bottom right.
Yeah, this is all the concepts for it, so
yeah, it's just
you can see
concept
more.
art.
Okay.
It's just concept art. There are probably tons of other concept art for other things. This, for all we know, I don't know. It could have been it could have been a bit of a leftover idea when they were theorizing what to do after Legends Arceus.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's very likely there could have been a bunch of other concept art and mood boards to set the mood for other hypothetical Legends games
Sure.
after Arceus, because they didn't know what to do at the time. They were trying to capture a vision and throw those visions out to see what would make sense.
Yeah, and to speak to your point, Lumi, I understand, like, because there's like for all we know, there is a new Pokemon in the concept art. It feels like they're that much further in development, or it's that much more
it
real.
just seems weird that they would make a new design for concept art when, like, you see in like the other, like in the concept game footage, they're using Eureka as a replacement, as a stand-in for the protagonist and all this. So it's just like mind-blowing to me that they would, for concept art, they're using Raboot, they're using Indeedee, but instead of just using Galarian Slowking there, they drew up a new thing, you know?
No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Can I see that slow poke a bit more?
Yeah, let me try to make it a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
it's
to
got
me,
like
I don't
a
even see it.
Milcery hat, is what people are saying.
To me, I don't really see it as a new form, to be honest. But that's just me.
It's no, 100%. That's no. So that's a new form. In every sense of the way that, how is that not a new form?
Pull up Galarian Slowking, Dusty, in another tab.
It could just be wearing a chef's hat.
Yeah, he's just wearing a hat.
I mean, it could be a new...
No. Like, look at
that is not Galarian Slowking. Look at it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's not good,
yeah.
the Galarian at all, but it has the Galarian like Slowpoke. The whole trait it gets is it gets the yellow head, and it like has that, so it's like clearly a build off of Galarian Slowpoke.
It has a chef's hat. It has like whiskers. It also normal Slowking has this red and white like ruffle around its neck, and instead this thing has it's yellow. It's yellow and white. This is a completely different Pokemon.
Slowpoke, a Slowbro, or a Slowking. I guess the only thing we can say is, I mean, again, there are two possibilities. The first is that they have a concept for a Galarian. This could have been a scrapped concept for Galarian Slowbro.
Yeah.
Sure.
At some points.
Yeah, I can see that. And they're just using it to be like, all right, listen, this thing exists. Just to help visualize what this game would be. Here's a new that could help sell it more if there's new Pokemon.
A new Pokemon to show what it could be. It could maybe look like, that kind of thing. Because again, this is concept art, so it's possible that this could be a rejected design from a rejected Galarian Slowbro design.
Yeah. So okay, Legends Galar likely to change. We've got our big multi-region concept Project Seed. And you're not counting on it.
Too early. Give it 5 years, and we'll see if we get if we get Terra League Part 3, then we can get a big look. I want to believe it's real, but it's experimental division. That alone says that we cannot count on it.
And even though Generation 11 is pretty much guaranteed, just because that's what they do.
By technicality.
Yeah, nothing that we've learned from the Terra League within Generation 11, I feel like is confirmed based on.
What have we learned from the Terra League? We've just learned we're planning Generation 11. You know?
Yeah.
Honestly, Dusty, if you're thinking that, I'd put it in probable. That's what I'd put it in, because it's probable to happen. But
sure.
The only thing that the Terra League actually mentioned about Generation 11 is that we plan for it to release in 2030, and we are putting the team together.
All right.
That's it.
I put in probable then.
About it to discuss.
Yeah.
Right, because like it will happen. Maybe it won't happen in 2030. You know, maybe there's delays or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but
well,
there's almost nothing about it to speculate on.
Yeah, no, there isn't.
Yeah.
Not much.
Well, I like this. I'm gonna just clean this up a little bit so it's easier to read. Oh, I guess I have to.
And you just delete the whole thing. Woo!
No, I got it. Hold on. I got the files right here.
If you hit back, it should still be there.
No, it's just because I made it. I was just gonna make it a little bit cleaner so we could see everything. So we got waves. Oh no, but I got rid of the S. It got rid of the tiers. All right,
Try to hit the
anyways.
back button. See what happens if you hit back button.
No, that's
Like
because I recreated it altogether.
Oh,
It's all good. Legends
Oh.
Galar's not very likely, and then we've got these other two games right here. So this is good. This is good. I like.
I
this.
I have a final question for you, Golden, which is just a kind of personal, but not really. How do you feel about the new region for Gen 10 for Gaia for Wind and Waves? Because it's essentially where you're at kind of right now. I mean, I'd feel really special if it was my like where I'm around. You know, yeah, go for it.
I would be happy. It's Southeast Asia, so yes, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
But Southeast Asia is huge,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a lot of
I
different countries
Yeah,
all mashed together.
I would put
It's like,
money. I would put money on Singapore being there. I'm just saying.
I would be happy because Singapore is, for better or worse, it's the financial hub of the entire Southeast Asia region. It would be
Exactly.
very funny to see them make Singapore into where the Pokemon League is. That would be very
Yeah.
funny.
I could see it.
But it's not mentioned anywhere in this.
Hmm.
It's not covered in any of the regions here. In fact, I think Singapore is like a little bit above Sumatera.
Yeah.
So we might just get skipped out, which is
Maybe
Yeah.
DLC.
Yeah, maybe
DLC. Yeah, go to Singapore.
And there's a Rowlet trainer. Yeah.
And it's you, yeah.
What?
One thing I know for sure is if they for some reason want to reference Singapore at all, they'll just put the Malayan somewhere. The Japanese love that thing for some reason.
What is
the
it
what?
exactly?
It's called the Malayan. It's basically this statue it's a sort of a statue somewhere in the central business district that it's sort of like that people really like, that the Japanese people really like for some reason. It's the closest thing that the country has to a mascot.
Is this guy?
Ooh,
It's this thing, yes.
that's cool.
Could be a
Cool.
Pokemon even. That looks
Dude,
cool.
That would be a fun Pokemon, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if I see a lionfish spitting water, it's like, okay, we're done.
Oh, that's true because
Japanese
a lionfish exists. I was thinking regional
Ooh,
Arcanine,
a
water type
lionfish.
Arcanine.
If
Right?
they make an Arcanine into a Malayan, that would be funny.
That would be sick.
It's Mega
Yeah.
Vaporeon, guys.
You're right.
kind
yeah.
of.
This thing,
That's great.
the Japanese really like this. I don't know why. So
No, that's-
if they ever want to reference Singapore, they'll probably just throw a Malayan. This Pokemon and call it a day.
You're gonna end up with
lionfish.
one of these. This lionfish.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's no lionfish Pokemon yet. But then again, there's
Yeah.
a lot of funky Pokemon. There's a lot of funky things out there that can be made into Pokemon.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Well, I hope that Singapore's in it for you.
Well, man, thank you so much for being here. Your channel's right here, Golden Owl on YouTube. I discovered your channel last week, and I was like, got to get you on the podcast because I think today was pretty fruitful. It was really nice to go through all of this, and I feel like I learned a lot. So if you guys do want to check out Golden Owl, his channel will be linked in the description. Actually, we'll probably do that new YouTube collaboration feature on this episode.
Ooh.
So his channel will be attached to the video, and he's got all these awesome videos about Pokemon, about a lot more that you can go check out. Yeah, Golden Owl. I'm speaking for you. So tell people where you want people to go.
This channel is just me talking about game design. I talk about whatever random game design topic that just catches my eye in general.
Yeah.
For some reason, I got convinced to go and make a series of videos about every single Pokemon type. So that's fun to cover. But
Yeah.
whatever. In general, this has been a very fun evening for me. I always
Glad.
enjoy just talking about Pokemon stuff in general. So I'm always,
Mhm.
it's always a fun time.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's great for us too.
Yeah,
Glad to hear.
that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. But yeah, man, thank you so much, and thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you guys watching. The #1 Pokemon podcast. Every single episode of Hidden Power is on YouTube. We'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.